time. Hey, the Trooper, and welcome to this stream or to this video if you're watching this on a later occasion. Hello, Nicole. I saw that you wrote. Woo! Here we go. Hope everything is good, Nicole. Hello, hello. I was considering if I was gonna wear my red panda onesie, but I didn't get to it. I continue to lag behind a little bit in my schedule and stuff, and I've been editing today for the Decadent Air video. I am getting close to the end of it, so it's close to being finished, but it took a little bit of longer time than I anticipated, and also, as usual, I had some other things I needed to take care of, and also a little bit of extreme tiredness in my brain. So I took a bit of an extra nap and stuff. Things you gotta do, or the things I gotta do to have some energy for the streams and stuff. Gotta take naps to get the brain cells, or to activate some brain cells. Is the kitty gone? The kitty is laying outside in the... I have a little napping place by the television. He's laying there, and the older cat is laying in this room in my bed, because I got my sleeping corner here behind me. They are taking a nap. We did have a bit of food and a playtime earlier. Let's see, do a little bit of commercial. Trying out Imperial Grace. Right. So tonight we are doing Imperial Grace, a part of the choosewiselyfestival. It's a bit of a bigger demo. It's like 2 to 3 hours. That's a pretty hefty demo. A pretty big demo. But there's been a couple of demos, right, with these narrative games that's been around 2 hours. 2 to 3 hours, understandable. And if it comes to me, it's probably 3 hours then, because I tend to take a little bit of longer time. Yeah, cats are sleepy. We also did have a bit of a playtime. So got some energy out of their system. But yeah, I was also, since Decadent Air has taken a bit of extra time, maybe I will get it. No, it might get tight. The videos are the ones who are lagging behind the most. We will see how tonight goes. I was planning on also releasing there's a picture. I was planning on releasing Do Not Buy This Game today also. Since I'm lagging behind with Decadent Air, and now also Do Not Buy This Game, and tomorrow I have a plan to release a video of Before They Catch Us, and that game I have no idea how long that one is. But I think, and I mentioned this yesterday, I think that Do Not Buy This Game is probably a shorter one. So I'm a little bit on the fence that if Iron Pilot, hello, finally catching one of your streams. Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, Iron Pilot. How's it going? Yeah, I'm thinking, depending on how Imperial Grace goes now, my voice is getting pretty tired after this long week. So I have been, like, I don't know if you can hear it. My voice is usually a bit raspy, but it's a bit on the extra raspier side right now, because it's getting strained by all the reading. Yeah, depending on how this game goes, there is a potential possibility that maybe I will squeeze in Do Not Buy This Game also, or I will just have to take a bit of a loss there and release videos, you know, catch up and release videos, though a bit late. That's a thing that I will write in my report to go through the whole thing with why I haven't delivered 100% as I wanted to. But yeah, it happens. It's a learning process, and it became a lot more content this week than I had initially planned, and also basically didn't manage to start any work before the week, so I've been working while the week has been going on, and you know, that's a bit of a tight squeeze. And plus, you know, things appeared in real life that I had to take care of, which meant precious hours had to be delegated away to other important things in life. If this was my full-time job, no problem. It wouldn't have been any problem. I would have, you know, continued each and every day, and I would have made it all possible. But I had to delegate quite a lot of hours to other things. So, yeah. A one-man team can only do so much. But we're playing Imperial Grace today at stream. If it goes well, we might do as we did on Friday and try Do Not Buy This Game after Imperial Grace and just squeeze it in. Because I think it's a shorter demo, but I'm not sure. I actually don't know. Some developers have been, you know, very thorough and kind and been writing that, hey, this game is longer. This game is this long, like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. So I've been, you know, a little bit prepared beforehand. Been working long days. Usually ends when you're done streaming. Now I'm home because I'm sick again. Aww, Iron Pilot. Are you sick because you actually get the sick from someone else, or are you sick because a bit of overworking, hard working? But yeah, today is also Sunday. So today is... How do you say it in English? Tomorrow is the last day. Today is the second last day. Tomorrow is the last day of like the planned festival. So even if the festival ends, I will, you know, get the videos out, get the content out, and I will, you know, wrap it up and maybe do a little bit of a I don't know, a wrap-up talk about it or something. I don't know. Maybe a short or just a short video of it, or talk about it in an upcoming stream later on or something. So tomorrow we also got Psycho Sleuth, and for video the plan is to get out. Decadent Air is gonna come out, and Do Not Buy This Game, and then tomorrow is also a video planned for Before They Catch Us. No, I don't know, stress or the stomach bug. No, not sure. Yeah, stress can help in getting you sick. But yeah, that sucks. At the same time, you know, nice in one way. When you get sick, you can't stay home and rest without feeling too guilty or anything like that, right? But yeah, let's jump over to Imperial Race. Well, so this game reminds me a lot about House of Dragons. Quite a, like, the first impression I get from you know, House of Dragons, or slash also you know, Game of Thrones in general, It has a little bit of the same feel, right? Just the first impression here. We'll turn off the cozy Christmas music because that is not what we want here. Boink. Okay, so there's no music at the moment. We will have to get a little bit of UI there. Let's go into settings. I was looking a little bit in settings before. And music, we should never put music or SFX too loud. It all depends. Music can sometimes go crazy. We also want to hear it, but it's very calm right now, so we'll be careful. SFX. Oh, here we go. Can try it out a little bit. I did remove flash of light. It's for, you know, photosensitive and epileptic people more so, but I don't know, sometimes it's nice to just skip a lot of flashing lights and stuff anyways. So I took that. We also have suggestive scenes, which is a little bit, streaming is tough on that part. It depends on how suggestive they are. Are we gonna see like beep 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 beep? Or are we gonna see birds? So maybe we'll have to turn that on. We'll see if I get surprised. Then we get text. We also get to like control how the texts will look. So I made it a bit bigger. There's also like auto text speed and unread text and a lot of choices. Dyslexic. I don't know how if that works for dyslexics, but very considerate. Very nice. And we also get extra. Dressing room, map and resources, galleries locked. It's not available in the demo. We get credits. I usually look at the credits afterwards. Okay. Let's try it. I hope you feel better soon, Iron Pilots. Even if it's nice to be, you know, home and rest a little bit, rest up. It's also, you know, can suck a little bit to be sick. This game is intended for a mature audience. It contains many themes that could offend the sensitivity of younger players. Oh, we're gonna go into that territory. A complete list of trigger warnings is available in our store page. Should I check that out? Just take a little look. I haven't really checked that out, you know. We can take a look just so we. Well, I'm not in that list of being easily offended and whatever stuff, but you know, can always be good to know. Okay, about this game. Imperial is a visual novel otome game focused on politics and romance in an imaginary medieval world. As the new Empress of Khalidia, your choices will determine your future and your kingdoms, so rule wisely. Become an Empress, and you can also do some character customization in the long run. You can find love. This game is, by the way, LGBTQ friendly. It's a lot of like, you choose how you want to do it and who you want to be. Fall under the charm of the three love interests and their flamboyant personalities and discover the kingdom of Khalidia through colorful and well-developed secondary characters. We got Alexander and then Asha, Theodore. Rule over Khalidia, manage your resources. I think manage your resources was like an extra thing that you could choose to do. I'm not sure. They wrote that in the email. Mature content description. The developers describe the content like this. The game is intended for a mature audience. It tackles several forms of fantasy violence common in medieval times. Assassination, disease, war, sexism, etc. Didn't really... where's that list now? Oh well. It's somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, I felt so nauseous I almost wanted to repaint the keyboard today at work. Ew. I went home. I don't know if the symptoms are stress, which is not good at all. If I just have food poisoning, they would almost be better. Sorry for being graphic. Enough of that. Let's enjoy a gamer stream. Milky Pork. Rating. Beep, 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 beep. I don't get any funny Twitch stuff for you guys, sorry. Hello guys, hello guys. Welcome in. We just started the Imperial Grace, so I was trying to find the trigger warnings. Hello, welcome Milky Pork. What were you streaming? Yeah, I played it not too long ago as well. It was fun. Okay, then I'm looking forward to it. It's a bit of a bigger demo, so it's gonna be a bit longer stream. What were you streaming? What were you doing? We're going to play a demo version of the game. Thus, the content might be subject to change and some features may be missing, such as the diplomat. And also, I'm not English speaking, so words is you know, something I can't sometimes. Diplomacy feature. Today we tried out Butter Side Down and Quality Dreams reasonably priced. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna try Butter Side Down like after the festival. I also got it on my list. There were so many games, so I just don't have time for all of them. But you streamed like a couple of games in a row each time you have streamed now? Show me some tips. Skip all tutorials. Oh, I don't really want to do a tutorial actually. Skip it. Oh yeah. Normal mode, story mode. You will have infinite resources. You will need to spend your resources carefully. For the sake of just having fun. Normal mode. I may have overextended myself with the games I've been playing for the festival. I can confess, me and several others have felt the same. It's been too much fun and we have all overextended ourselves with the schedule, but it's you know, it's good to try and push yourself and try out things, right? Import. Lydia has been registered as new name. What? I understand. I don't understand actually. I am DodgeMaster. Well, I have loved it, but if I do another festival, I'm going to be a little calmer. Yeah, same. Sorry, my nose is really scratchy. I have actually made a little bit of plans of after this festival, because this is my first festival also. I have never done a festival like this before. So I'm thinking of doing like a sum up after the festival is done. So maybe do a short video or just a short, or talk about it on a stream or something. And, you know, what went well, what didn't go well, lessons learned, and so on. You know, do a little bit like a report, kind of like when you have sprints and stuff. And also it's, you know, good for future reference. So next time there is a festival or a bigger project or something, then you know that, okay. But it's also kind of funny because I did. When the developer started contacting me, you know, it was like 3-4 weeks ago, and I had like 2-3 of them that had contacted me, and I kind of forgot about it. It was My bad, I wasn't organized. So then when more people contacted me and I was like, yes, I can do your game, and yes, I can do your game, and it shouldn't be a problem. And I started filling up the list, and then, you know, it became 3 extra. And one of them also had 2 games for me to try, so it became, you know, I ended up filling up the list like for the whole week, and I was like, oh, oops. Well, it's a good challenge. And it's been a good challenge. Blessed by Basan, you have loved fighting since you were a child, although you are not. But my voice is broken now. I'm very raspy. You have loved fighting since you were a child, although you are not allowed on the battlefield. You are in excellent physical shape, and your swordsmanship rivals that of a man. Well, I like that. Blessed by Amateira. When you were younger, you almost became a scholar. Your love of reading and learning has given you knowledge in many fields, including astronomy, theology, and botany. Interesting. Starting bonus: army, religion, influence, money. Money. You have mastered the art of diplomacy and eloquence. You can improvise inspiring speeches in an instant, and you know the first names of every noble over 3 generations. Influence is always good when you're gonna be an empress, right? Blessed by Myriad. Numbers and resources management holds no secret for you, and you have excellent relations with merchants. Milkport, did you put on... I saw there was an option for... potential what did he say? He said something like potential nudity scenes or something like that. I don't know. Like you could black it out or something. I don't recall there being any. Okay, yeah, maybe in the demo you don't get that far. Because I was like, should I turn it on? I guess for streaming you don't really want to show too much, depending on how much they actually show. I think religion is also a way of power. Army. I'm gonna go with influence, considering. Skin. I am pale as a ghost. Oh, pretty. They're also pretty. Well, what do I do? Well, I will go for my own complexion. Freckles. I don't got many freckles, but freckles are very pretty. I got a lot of beauty marks. Pick more. Dots everywhere. The hair type. Contrary to the hairstyle, cannot be modified during the game and will be taken into account during illustrations. CG. Oh. Straight hair or a little bit wavy. Oh. Many choices. I like there's a sound. Ba-doom, 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 ba-doom. I like this one. But we can check out some more dreads. Got some dread options. Oh, this one. Wow, like a goddess. Or this one also. It's nice when they put, you know, a little nice little golden details, jewelries and stuff. Let's go check curly also. Oh, this again. Details in the hair, jewelry. Very nicely rendered. I had asked the devs about adult content in the demo, and the response was, there is also nothing spicy or problematic in the demo itself, and nothing provocative. Oh, okay. Yeah, then this shouldn't be a problem then. I believe them. This one is not. okay, this is an important choice, guys. We can't change this. We can never change our hairstyle. We're stuck with this forever. I'll go with this one. Very intricate, very nice. We could even change eye color. I got gray blue eyes. Make something extra, little brighter. Kind of like that, maybe. Import. Where do I import it? Half of every game with character customization is just customizing. Yeah. You can spend a lot of time on this, okay? Some games more than others. I usually try to be a little bit, fast in some instances when you're playing with others or when you're streaming. It's like, okay, don't stay too long. But I do love customization, I'm not gonna lie. Customizations on the screen will not be reflected in the illustration CG. The match options adapts your outfit to the illustration, not the other way around. To change your outfit during the game, click on extra outfit. Whoa. Wow. Well, I like this one. I'm done. You can change the hair. Confirm. CAE. Well, I guess nighttime I would maybe not go with it. Well, that. Fight. You can't do fighting. Prologue. Your Grace, Your Grace. A panicked voice resonated in my dream like an echo. A few moments before I understood that it came from somewhere else and woke up with a jolt, disoriented. Okay, this game got save options, and I'm really bad at saving. It has been showcased many times now in these demos. I forgot to save, and then I can't go back and make new choices. The what is this word? The palpable. Like, I've heard this word, but why can't I say it? The palpable feeling of urgency had immediately brought me to my senses, but it still took me a few seconds to recognize the advisor's voice as well as the room I was in. Alden, what's going on? Alden, the Velble. Your Highness. Oh, it was a dude. Your Highness, I bring terrible news. Your father. Your father was assassinated last night. I was ready to hear just about anything. Managing crisis was an important part of royalty after all, and yet I was completely stunned by the news. My father was dead at the hands of an assassin just a few rooms away from me. All the implications from this revelation bounced through my head, drenched in doubt and fear concerning my own security and the future of the realm of Khalidia. I beg your pardon, Your Highness? Oh, sorry. I beg your pardon, Your Highness. I was too late. Pulling myself out of my lethargy, I looked down on Alexander, who knelt next to the bed, his head bent low, as if the weight of his shame stopped him from getting up. Whatever went down, I knew I had nothing to be ashamed of. When I was just a child, I already admired his talents, and they grew steadfast with age and the position of general. His presence here was a relief. I didn't know the assassin's full intentions, but even if they were after me, as long as Alexander was by my side, I didn't have anything to worry about. Don't put yourself down like this. You aren't responsible for what happened. We'll bring the regicide to justice. I'm learning a lot of new words, not gonna lie. Still mortified, Alexander stayed on his knees. I could see his fingers twitch a little. Proof he wasn't completely convinced, but he nodded his approval all the same, transported by the firmness of my voice. As for me, now that I had said it out loud, I felt that the information had settled in my mind, and I finally accepted it as truth, with a full understanding of the situation. My father, Magnus V, Emperor of Calidia, was dead. Fix my chair. Many would have broken down after hearing such news. Yeah, I was considering. Where's the tears? The drama. But for years now, I hadn't held an ounce of affection for him. Oh, okay. That explains it. His death was actually good news to me. Aha! Smirk. It marked the beginning of a new era. A better one, I hoped. An era for which I'd been preparing ever since I realized that this was my destiny. I was to succeed him. I was to become the Empress. But it wasn't yet time for celebration. Although I was the legitimate heir to the throne, I had plenty of detractors, and I still needed to figure out why the assassination had taken place. I had many questions about the killer's identity and motivations. I was lost in thought, and it took me a while to realize that Alden and Alexander were staring at me while I'm being smiling and thinking evil thoughts, worried, surely awaiting a reaction or a declaration from me. Fake the tears. Both had known me since my early childhood. They knew the enmity I felt for the Emperor, and I trusted them enough to set all pretenses aside. But it was perhaps a bit inappropriate to rejoice over my future child while my father's dead corpse was still warm. Yes. After taking a deep breath, I threw off my covers and got up. I ironed them. Hey guys. Rejoice! Pretend to be sad. Oh my god, it's so funny. I'm not gonna lie, narrative games, they really, I don't know, I haven't played so many narrative games, but they speak to me. Because in the end, it's kind of like reading a book, but then you get to make choices, and the book, you know, kind of changes and stuff, you know. And then you can go a little bit crazy because you can also save and stuff and go back, and it can become so funny. Do you want more noise? Maybe I will put the sound up a bit. I can't. Like, it's a demo. We're having fun, you know? Just rejoice! Oh, and after all, I was about to spend the next few days pretending to be a grieving orphan and crying my heart out. I could enjoy this moment for a while longer without faking my sadness. I know this might be unseemly, but you are both aware of what I felt for my father. I won't mourn his death. I'm convinced that I'll be a far better ruler than him, and what matters right now is the kingdom's stability. My candor seemed to throw them off for a moment, but they recovered very quickly, vigorously nodding while I finished getting up to lend weight to my words. I'm counting on you to protect and serve me. This won't be an easy task, but I'm sure we can accomplish great things. This time, Alexander got up, putting his hand on his sheet in a dignified and military posture. At your service, Highness. May the four witness my oath. I solemnly swear that I will protect you until my dying breath. Did he just me? Empathic, he bowed down before lifting his eyes up on me. I smiled and accepted his allegiance with a certain poise, despite my unkempt hair and my nightgown. You call that unkempt? Okay. Marjorie, my tutor, often told me that everything about me showed nobility, that I didn't need any props to act like an empress. Today I understood what she had meant. Alden, however, didn't seem to share the general's fervor. Forgive me, your majesty, for tarnishing your enthusiasm, but there is a very delicate question that I have to ask. Have you had your father killed? His abrupt question threw me off, and I stared at him, wavering between surprise and indignation. How dare you even suggest such a possibility? You're going too far, advisor. Come on, don't be offended. You said it yourself. You have hated your father since the death of your brother. You have always held him responsible for it. And your father dies on the very day of your return to the palace. Whatever your answer is, I'll accept it, but I need to know. I felt anger rise within me at these words, and I walked to the window to breathe some fresh air. After I took a few deep inhales, I finally turned around to face him and gave him my answer in a firm voice. On the one hand, my presence here isn't a coincidence. The Emperor celebrates, or rather was about to celebrate, his birthday in 2 days. Half of the Empire noblemen are here. It's undeniable that the event presented the perfect opportunity to strike. The palace is swarming with unknown guards and servants. It's much harder to provide security in these circumstances. Exactly. On the other hand, your suspicions are an insult to my intelligence advisor. After a regicide, the heir is always suspected. If I had really wanted to speed up fate, you better believe I would have been smarter about it. Marjorie taught me the rules of the game. I would never risk losing everything in such a foolish way. I know my ascension to the throne will already be difficult because I'm a woman. I'll state it plainly if I can relieve your doubts, but listen closely because I will not repeat myself. No, I did not have my father assassinated. My eyes strained on him. I crossed my arms, almost daring him to contradict me as I kept a lid on my fury. Alden seemed to gouge me for a moment, then nodded in assent and apology. Please forgive me, Your Grace. As soon as possible, I'll alert the Master of Murmurs, and will launch an investigation to uncover the truth and bring justice to your father. I would have preferred more vivid regrets, but under the circumstances, this was enough, and I felt my anger slowly fade away. I accept your apology. Let's not speak of this again. There are more urgent things to do. The news will, no doubt, make quite a commotion. You have asked us to swear allegiance to you. I assume you will try to claim your rightful place as heir, Your Grace. Yes! Yes, it's my destiny! Yes, I have always wanted to become Empress. Well, they both... It's my destiny! Wait. Did I turn up the music a little bit for you guys? I feel it's actually very quiet, this music, compared to other games. So far, at least. And then the UI is pretty good. Maybe something like that. Save! Can't remember to save. Demo tests. Perfect. I heaved a deep sigh and mustered all my determination to answer him without leaving any doubts as to my intentions. I realized a while ago that this was my destiny. Whether I like it or not, I don't really have a choice, and I'm not one to do things half-heartedly. I know there aren't many people in the direct line of succession, but if you truly don't want to, I believe one of your bastard brothers would do the trick. You know full well that my cousins would covet to the position. This would mean the start of a succession war that would drown the kingdom in fire and blood. Even if by some miracle the nobility came out in favor of one of my half-brothers, there's no guarantee that it would all go well. They know nothing of politics. They'd be nothing more than puppets, or even worse, incompetents. By birth, I have a responsibility to the people of this country, and I don't intend to shirk it. In any case, even if I were to retire to my estate to manage it, I would still be a potential threat to their reign. I'll never be safe, even if I were to completely relinquish my right to the throne. There's no doubt about it, I have to be the next empress. Only time will tell, but I think I am the best possible choice under the circumstances. I don't doubt you, Grace. In fact, I'm rather relieved to see you have already thought about it. Like you said, our country needs stability. We can't get away with a weak-willed monarch on the throne. I'm sure you'll be a wonderful empress, DodgeMaster. Yes, it's me. His words were barely a whisper, but I was sure of what I heard, and I felt my cheeks redden a little. Oh, I see. He seemed embarrassed by his own boldness and blushed more violently than me, damn. While I flashed him a smile to reassure him. It had been years since I had last heard him call me by my name. Even if I had no doubts about my own abilities, it was always refreshing to see the trust he gave me. I cleared my throat and regained my composure so I could give my orders. This would be a long night. DodgeMaster Terinfil. Who else knows about the assassination for now? Alexander seemed surprised by my question and frowned a bit while searching his mind. When I found the body, I immediately went to warn the advisor, and both of us rushed to see you. The only ones who know about it are the guards who were patrolling with me and your father's personal maid who was passing by. We knew it would be bad to attract attention, so I had her discreetly sent to the dungeon for interrogation. How about the guards who were stationed before my father's door? Both are dead. I also had their corpses taken to the dungeon for examination. I paced the room, lost deep in thought. You've done well. Now I have to keep it all a secret. It's imperative that no one else hears about it. Blech. Dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. Grace. This won't be an easy secret to keep. Obviously, we won't be able to do that forever. I only need a few days so I can stay ahead of my detractors. Alden looked thoughtful for a moment, then he nodded. I see. So you want to act before everyone else, which should give you the upper hand. Exactly. Very smart. I have no doubt that some people will want to take advantage of the situation. Even if you are unquestionably the rightful heir, your place will be fought over. But if you don't give them time to react, that could make things a great deal easier. That's what I was thinking too. I'd love it if the situation was more straightforward, but this is a little white lie, and the alternative is the chaos of a widely disputed succession. Alden nodded, and I continued, developing the rest of my plan. In the meantime, pretend that His Majesty is not feeling well and investigate discreetly. I see. I'll order my men to stay silent. I'll also ensure that they haven't said a word so far. About that, it might be wiser to ensure that they can't talk at all. What? Low-grade staff is known for its gossiping, even the guards. My men are trustworthy. They would never disobey. Would you be willing to bet on that? If it could jeopardize the plan of your new empress, to whom you have only just sworn allegiance? Dot dot dot. And that maid, can you also guarantee she'll keep quiet? His teeth clenched, his hand gripping the hilt of his sword. Alexander shook his head. The weight of Alden's words had also fallen heavily on my shoulders, and I observed both men while contemplating my next step. This decision is yours to make, Your Grace, but I strongly advise... my voice. But I strongly advise you to silence them for good. Alden was right. The most effective way to ensure someone stayed quiet was to have them killed. However, there could be other alternatives to consider. Such a decision couldn't be taken lightly, because whatever I decided, I couldn't afford to regret it. Oh, it costs stuff. Have them killed. We'll pretend they were collateral damage of the assassin. I am sorry, Alexander, but we cannot afford to take any risks. Ensure their loyalty by promising them a much better position once I'm crowned. Even if they were really tempted to talk about what happened, they should be good enough motivation to assure their allegiance. When you explain to them that they mustn't say a word, give them a few coins and promise them more once the secret has been revealed, and in the meantime send them on vacation far away from here. That should be enough to guarantee their silence. Good question. I'm loving it. Do we want to pay money for it? Do we just want maybe just kill? If they are good, a good position. Hopefully they're good. Let's give them a good position. Yeah. I saw Alexander sigh in relief and imperceptibly loosen up. Imperceptibly loosen up. Alden, however, shrugged and bowed to me. That could work, yes. Time will tell. I have faith. Besides, if I'm right, I'll be surrounded by trustworthy people, which is always useful. I had spoken with determination, perfectly hiding my own doubts. Humans are unpredictable in nature, it was a bet, and I could only hope it would pay off. In any case, even if the servants talked and the rumors escaped, I still had my chances. The advantage I was building would be precious to me, but it wasn't the only weapon in my arsenal. Can I count on you, Alexander? He straightened into a military stance and immediately bowed. Of course, Your Grace. I will do my best to convince them. You have made the right decision. Sure, Alexander. Sure. Without further ado, he bowed once more and left the room with a heavy step. Alden seemed to be lost in thought for a moment, giving me the time to come to my senses before he bowed down in turn. I must at least inform the Master of Murmurs of the situation so that they may launch an investigation. I nodded, aware of our lead spy's discretion as well as his efficiency. Once that is done, I'll come to you to plan the rest of your ascent. Once more, I nodded in approval, glad to be offered a little interlude that would allow me to gather my thoughts. And to dress decently while I was at it. After all, even if the coronation hadn't taken place yet, deep within me I knew it, I felt it. I was the Empress. Ding, 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 ding. Long live the Emperor. Spring, day 8 morning. Ooh, pretty flowers. The sun had now been up for a few hours, promising a beautiful day, but I knew I wouldn't be able to appreciate it. Now that the rush of adrenaline from the news had passed, all I had left were doubts on the days to come, which were going to be exhilarating as much as terrifying. I was gambling my future along with Calidia's, and that was a big deal. I had spent the past few hours readying myself and refining the details of my plan to appease my latent nervousness as best as I could. But that didn't help me shake off my main preoccupation, the servants. Like Alden had said, I had made a risky decision, and I had been torturing myself for hours wondering if it was worth it. I'm gonna guess if we had, killed them, she probably still would be like, was it the right decision, I was restless when I heard a knock. I leapt to the door, opening it for Alden and letting him in. There, Your Grace, we have followed your orders. Ooh, who's that? I hadn't seen that he was accompanied by the Master of Murmurs, who came in after him. A slight discomfort washed over me. His role inside the palace was vital, but since I was a child, I had been terrified of his hidden face and the mysterious aura that surrounded him. But, hello. Nevertheless, my discomfort turned into amazement when I saw him remove his hood, as if it were nothing, and turn to face me. Wow. My brain had pictured the worst for years, and it was very unsettling to finally be able to put a face to that man. I realized he wasn't as monstrous as I had imagined. In fact, I was so shocked that it made me forget the reason for my visitor's presence, which seemed to greatly amuse the Master of Murmurs. Is there a problem, Your Grace? Oh, it's just... I didn't know that you could show your face. To be honest, I do what I want, but in principle, I only remove my hood in the presence of my sovereign and their close collaborators. Though I like to entertain the mystery and anonymity that comes with the job, it would be far too dangerous for me to never reveal my face. Some people might use that to usurp my identity. I see. Though it was disconcerting, it was also rather reassuring to see that a man as important as the Master of Murmurs already acknowledged me as his sovereign. Alden cleared his throat to recall me to my duty, and I suddenly remembered the reason for the two men's presence, which immediately made my anxiety flare up. To keep myself from staring at the master spy, I faced the advisor and fully focused on him. Did everything go well? My anxiety must have been conspicuous, even if I was doing my best to put on a confident expression. The servants seemed convinced by your offer. They left the palace without complaining, so I suppose we can count that as a win. Despite all that, it's still a bit early to be sure of anything. I give the Master of Murmurs and Alexander the task of keeping a close eye on the situation. The Master of Murmurs slowly nodded in assent. We'll know more tomorrow, but for the time being, there's nothing more to report. I lifted my eyes to meet my advisors and flashed Alden a reassuring smile. Clearly, he read my emotions better than I had thought, and I couldn't allow myself to visibly waver at such a critical time. I know that, and what's done is done. Now we must focus on the future. Bring the High Priest to the council's room. I need him to contact the Quadrator. Robert is a pious man. Are you sure it's a good idea to confide in him? Everyone likes to think the devout never lie, but one doesn't obtain a place like this without cheating a little. I admit that the idea of lying to him came to me for a fleeting moment, but to fool him would be a complex task, and I'll be needing his support when the time comes. The people put great stock in men of faith. Very well, Your Majesty. Will that be all? Yes, thank you. Thank you. Oh, afternoon? Lunchtime? You summoned me, Your Grace. Yes, thank you for coming, Robert. I gestured for him to sit down while I settled behind my father's imposing desk. Like I had predicted, my behavior made him lift a curious brow, but I pretended to not notice it. I won't beat around the bush. My father, the Emperor, died during the night. Clearly, we had done a pretty good job at keeping that a secret, since the shock on his face seemed genuine. Well, but how? And why am I just learning about it now? I need to pray for his soul. I tried to appease him with a wave of my hand, inviting him to sit back down, since it looked like he was about to get up. He was murdered. For the time being, we are keeping his death a secret, so we can investigate without causing any sort of panic. It was the Master of Murmur's idea. He's convinced he'll be able to find the assassin more easily this way. Drowning in information, the High Priest slumped into his chair and took in my half-truth while I assumed a saddened expression. It truly is a tragic situation. Keeping quiet and hiding my mourning is a very hard task for me. I know it's a lot to ask of you, but you need to keep this a secret. I want to do everything in my power to uncover the murderer, especially since I'm scared he could come after me. Once more, I was quite proud of the quavers in my voice, and my acting seemed to be effective since I saw a spark of compassion light up in his eyes. I understand now why the general was guarding your door like a common soldier. With a closed expression on my face, I nodded, searching for the right words. The first and main reason I have summoned you here is so that I could confide in you and ask you to pray for my departed father's soul. Of course, Your Majesty. I'll lock myself up in the great temple and dedicate myself to the task. My face still sad. I gave him a tight, grateful smile, but inside I felt relieved. His prayers should keep him busy enough that he wouldn't be tempted to reveal everything. Now I could move on to the true reason of his presence here. But before that, this saddens me, but I have another favor to ask of you. Of course, Your Grace. What is it? Well, Alden and I are afraid that all the upstarts across the kingdom will rush to the castle and try to usurp the throne as soon as my father's death is made public. In their greed, many forget that my line sits on the throne by the grace of the Four. So I'd like to send a letter to the Quadrator and have him support my coronation as well as reaffirm my legitimacy. Once more, he stayed silent, and I tried to hide my worry behind a wheel of sadness. I hated that my plans depended on a single person, but I didn't have a choice. Only rulers and high priests could hope to quickly reach the ultimate leaders of the cardinals, and I technically wasn't empress yet. I understand, yes. You're Magnus V's only legitimate child. The throne should be yours. That said, I don't know if the Quadrator will approve of your advent. Perhaps if you were married, your candidacy would seem less inappropriate. I felt my body tense up at his words, and it took all I had to conceal how irritated I was by this reminder. I knew I would be told such things. I had mentally prepared myself for it, but obviously it hadn't been enough. It's an issue, yes, and I'll do my best to find a fitting husband quickly. But you'll agree that I cannot entrust the throne to Khalidia to just anyone. I have plenty of suitors, but I need some time to study each and every one of them. That's not something that can be done in just a couple of days or even weeks. In the meantime, we do need someone to lead the country and make sure it doesn't sink into chaos. And if a regent were to be appointed, I'm afraid he might refuse to give the throne back to me and my husband, which would lead the whole country to a bloodbath. No one wants to see another era of murderous plots, like during Magnus III's time. You're right, Your Grace. We cannot let such a tragedy befall us. I'll go write a letter to the Quadrator right away to express support for your coronation and explain our situation. Satisfied, I let out a sigh of relief. I thank you for your support, High Priest Robert. It means a lot to me. Swiftly, I opened one of the desk drawers and pulled out a thin, sealed letter. While I was waiting for you, I humbly wrote a few words destined for the Quadrator. We have never met, and I hope this would help him get to know me a little, as well as reassure him of my faith in the Four. I was thinking that perhaps you would be so kind as to add it to your own correspondence. Once more, he seemed to be caught off guard, but he smiled instantly and enthusiastically. Of course, Your Majesty, it's a great idea. Relieved, I gave him the letter in question, while thanking him once more for his support and his help in these unprecedented times. I only hoped he didn't have the audacity to break the seal, because even if it did contain a few clichés on my virtues, the letter mostly made promises that could actually motivate the Quadrator. Yeah. I knew the gold made the world go round, and so I promised a hefty donation to the great temple of Meridian. Knowing his taste for luxury, I knew that he wouldn't be insensitive to a few more riches. Having always known that I'd need... Oh, Twitch is in a commercial mode. Doing a little stretch. Hello, X. Why? Oh no, I haven't. I see, I have made a mistake. I have not connected my YouTube. I don't see you guys in chat. Hello, X. Welcome in. The Master of Murmurs. Hello, PJ. Welcome in. Hope everything is good with you guys. Yes, the Master of Murmurs. Oh, it's so good. I hope you guys will appear in the chat now. Hope everything is good with you guys. Good on this Sunday. I'm taking it a little bit slow because Twitch is on a commercial break for 2 more minutes, so we can chill a little bit. Gotta make a hard choice anyways. Having always known that I need his support one day, I had used the few resources at my disposal to observe him closely, and I had learned something that could stain his reputation. Oh, so either we give money or we kind of blackmail him. Oh my god, can you see us now? I can see you now. X, I can see you. You are in chat. I am sorry for that. My bad. That is my bad. I think I'm gonna donate money. I think that's better. It sounds like someone we really need on our side, so we shouldn't. Ooh, remember, we can save. Demo test. That important. What the name is? Hey, yes. So 25 more seconds. Commercial, commercial, ads, ads. Oh my god, when I was scrolling Instagram today, that was crazy. To get 20 kind of, you know, a mix of different types of ads, even if it's ads for like Instagram account and stuff. It was just like ad, and that was so annoying. Yay, also, you are not playing A Better World anymore. Nope, this is not those type of decision making. Now we're just gonna save a whole city, a whole place, and we're gonna become empress instead. Okay, Twitch is back. I'm gonna give him money. To play with a man as powerful as the Quadrator, and I wasn't talking about his possible connection to the gods, but his actual worldly power was a risky move, but it was all worth it. The dice had been cast. I could only hope for things to go well, and prepared field for my conquest of the Khalidian nobility. Spring! Day 8. Evening. Despite my desire to act, for the time being I couldn't do anything but wait for the Quadrator's answers. Even if the letter had left that very morning, Meridian was far away, and I knew I couldn't hope for an answer for at least 3 days. I had to chomp at the... It sounded loud, but I don't know. Ding, 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 ding. The now playing still says A Better World. Oh, it does? Oh, I thought I changed that. That's not supposed to be. Oh, right. Yeah, maybe I forgot to. I did fix the stuff and stuff, but then I didn't fix the stuff and stuff, right? Where the heck is that? You know, you do the settings and stuff, and then you scroll a little bit too fast. No, it's well. Oh, you mean in the stream? Oh, me baka. My bad. My bad, you mean this one. I did everything but this. Imperial Grace. Well, we're still creating a better world, I guess. In one sense. I get it. It is a lot for you this week. It's been a bit. But then also... I don't know. I took a nap, and then, you know, I've been editing... Bing, 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 bing. I will lower the music a little bit. I've been editing Decadent Air today, and I'm almost done. But I've also been really tired in my head. So, you know, a lot of editing, and then I was like fixing a little bit with social media, a little bit with prepping for the stream. But even though I was prepping some for the stream, I didn't do all of the things I usually do, because it's, you know, it's a lot of steps. And this tiny details. tiny details. Oh well, now it's fixed. We're playing Imperial Grace, making a better world. Yeah. Perfect. You're not supposed to do this, right? It's like bad to do this, so bing. Perfect. It's a... Well, let's do the Italian. It's a perfect. Now it's all good. Even if the letter had left that very morning, I had to chomp at the bit and act naive. I need to scratch my eyeball. My god. My first thought was to mingle with the court so I could clear my head, but then pretending that nothing was up and feeding rumors to justify my father's absence was more frustrating than doing nothing. Even Marjorie's presence irritated me, despite her advanced age. As soon as she turned her inquisitive eyes onto me, I had the impression she managed to perceive the truth. And so I had taken refugee in the library, hoping to read a little. But in all honesty, even if I managed to unscramble a few words, my thoughts were far away and my mind was replaying the events of the previous night. Asking myself again and again if I had done the right thing. Your Grace! Oh, Your Grace. As if he suddenly realized where we were, the Master of Murmurs repeated his interjection in a lower, albeit just a zealous tone. Your Grace, we have an urgent problem on our hands. There's supposed to be murmurs. Murmur! This preamble was enough to make me abandon my boring reading, and I put down my book, ensuring there weren't any indiscreet ears in the library before I invited him to continue. After he also made sure no one else was around, he pulled back his hood and resumed his explanations. As you know, I have asked to keep an eye on the 3 people aware of your father's death. However, barely 24 hours have passed, and I have been told that the maid immediately went to a noble, the Baron Torben of Levallois, instead of leaving town. I conducted an investigation, and I'm almost positive the two are in a relationship. I've interrogated her colleagues, who confirmed that she had a rich benefactor for a few months already, and everything hints at his name. I didn't really care about my servant's romantic endeavors, but I wanted to know where he was going with this. Are you afraid she'll speak? Yes, and I'm afraid the Baron will want to use that information to glean more power. Is he trying to blackmail us? No, we have had nothing of the sort, but tonight he's holding a party to which half of the nobles currently in the capital are invited. That cannot be a coincidence. No event justifies for such a party to be improvised. It's improper. I admit this situation is very odd, but do we have any proof? Unfortunately, no, Majesty. Only suspicions. I took in a few deep breaths while I pondered the situation and calculated the risks. If these allegations happen to be true, I would be stuck between a rock and a hard place. Not only would my plan to gain time fail utterly, but everyone would know of my deception. Moreover, if she didn't speak, now that I knew of this maid's allegiance, I wasn't sure it was a good idea to give her a better position down the line. That would give her more opportunities to spy on me for the Baron. What are our options? There aren't many, Majesty. Either we do nothing and wait to see what happens while preparing to counteract possible rumors, or we have them both assassinated to eliminate any risk of leaks. But the Baron is an influential man. There are far fewer chances of his death passing unnoticed than that of a simple servant. Tired, I massaged my temples to help me think about the best sources of action in the situation. Death was most definitely the best way to stop someone from talking, but the reason I wanted to avoid such methods in the first place was because they disgusted me, and they could well have unwelcome repercussions for me. Would allying myself with the Baron be a possibility? It's true that this information will give him power, but not as much as having an Empress owe him a favor. I think it could work, but do you really want to start your rule indebted to such an ambitious man? That was indeed the risk. I could always double cross him once the danger had passed, but that would undeniably have after effects. Do I have an idea of what he wants? I'd like to know what I'm getting myself into. If I had a few days, I would have been able to tell you, but I can't answer you in time of the party. Sighing once more, I close my eyes to better contemplate my options. Save. Maybe we should have killed him. I don't know. Maybe that's the best easy way out, you know. Free? When one plays, one must expect to lose. I'm ready to accept the consequences of my actions. Even if it won't be easy, I'm afraid trying to fix things will only make them worse, and I don't want to fall into such a vicious cycle. I'll wait to see what happens. We should prepare as best we can for what is to come. Oh, you can see how many you have. I despise having to resort to this solution, but because the servant hasn't been trustworthy, I don't have much of a choice. Have them murdered before tonight and make sure this can't be traced back to me. Otherwise, consequences would be even more distressed. We only got 10 of the soldier, though. Right now, what matters most is to solve this issue. If the Baron demands more than he is owed after all is said and done, we'll decide what to do with him. But he might behave reasonably, which would mark the start of a fruitful alliance. We won't know until we try. We at least have to attempt to reason with him. I guess we could reason with him. Like, you know, we can murder him in the future. I'd like to share your optimism, Your Grace, but the Baron of Levallois never seemed a reasonable man to me. We'll see. You know, give them one chance, give them 2 chances, and then they're dead. Chop! Well, in any case, I bend to your will. Since Advisor Alden is more adept at this sort of negotiation, I will inform him and let him lead the discussions. Nevertheless, I'll stay at the ready, in case the Baron refuses to listen to reason. Very well, I'm counting on you. The Master of Murmurs gave me an elegant bow and departed, leaving me alone once more. With doubts gnawing at my mind, I waited for the end of the day with more nervousness than usual, unable to concentrate, fearing the arrival of the Master of Murmurs as much as I hoped for it. Come on! Do that like that meme. Just dodge those anxieties and whatever. Choop, 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 choop. It was already late when Alden knocked on my door to inform me of the evolution of the situation. I was convinced a man like the Baron would be in favor of some arrangement, but there were so many things that could go wrong. Your Grace, I've spoken to the Baron of Levallois, who turned out to be quite stingy with his information. To my greatest shame, I'm unable to tell you what he knows exactly. He's remained very vague on the subject, but he clearly hinted at having information that could harm you. I did as you wished and suggested that if he supports your ascension to the throne, he'll have your eternal gratitude. He accepted in principle, but he seemed to doubt that you intend to uphold your side of the bargain. He's asking for a guarantee. Guarantee? Alden nodded with a sigh. He wants a document written and signed by your hand to make this alliance official. I couldn't blame him for doubting my honor. After all, I had considered breaking my promise if the price to pay for upholding it was too high. But what he asked me was impossible. I can't do that. That would mean admitting to my schemes. At the moment, all he's got is the word of a servant and no proof that I'm directly involved. I won't hand it to him on a silver platter. I wholeheartedly agree with you, but those are his terms. Exasperated, I took in a deep breath before grabbing a sheet of paper and some ink from my desk. I'll write him a letter in which I declare that I owe him a favor for services rendered, without giving any details. It should be enough to prove my goodwill, and if it doesn't suit him, it means deep down he never wanted to commit to this arrangement in the first place. You won't have any choice then but to use your methods. Very well. Very well, Majesty. I'll bring it to him right away. Thank you, Alden. I'm sorry to use you as a courier. It's beneath you. He gave an amused laugh. Oh, you'll be surprised, Majesty. This has often been my exact role. Well, I dozed off, seated at my desk, when someone knocked on my door once more, and I woke up with a start. So, Alden, how did it go? It seemed he had spent hours on the task, which was rather worrisome, but he had come back without the letter and I had written. He accepted this compromise. For the time being, he doesn't want anything in particular, but I trust him to let us know when he is ready to claim his favor. And the party? It must be in full swing at this time of night. I don't know if his main goal was to harm me, but in any case, he had another excuse ready. He announced his engagement to a noble from Vargas, Dame Lilia of Valentum. I nodded with a sigh. I didn't know when this would all come back to bite me again, but at least the situation was under control. Thank you for your help, Alden. My pleasure, Your Grace. We'll continue to keep a close eye on him, but you can relax for now. Smiling, I nodded, aware that I was in dire need of sleep after so many strong emotions. Exhausting. Exhausting. It's been 2 days. Your Grace, this is a little premature, but should you become Empress, you will need to manage the kingdom's policies. I'd like to make sure that you're ready for such a task. I am. Skip the tutorial. Don't worry, I know exactly what to do. I even have a few ideas on what I'd like to improve. I'm very glad to hear that. What do you have in mind? Yeah. What do I do? Reset. Politics, taxes, low, moderate, high. The people will understand and you'll receive a moderate amount of money. Economy. Your economy will be focused on the exploitation of raw resources. People -5. Farming. Your economy will be focused on agriculture and food production. People happy. Goods 3. Crafts. You will focus on craftsmanship, especially luxury items. Nobility. The people are like, what the fuck? Goods +1. Money. Money. You're going to focus on the exploitation of raw resources. Goods 3. Money +1. Okay. Nobility. Okay, so here we gotta sum up influence 15 +2, goods 10, army 10. We get a continuous +2 +2 +2. Money 0. More money! More money! Offerings. You will help finance a good part of the temples and academics across the realm. Money -1, religion +1, people. Oh, people 5 -3. Oh, -1. Trade. Small taxes are levied. Oh yeah, this game was kind of similar or inspired-ish by Yes, Your Grace. Like this system feels a little bit, you know, a little bit similar, right? I think they wrote something about it. Quick check. Imperial Race. Brum, brum. Brum, 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 brum. Brum, brum, brum. No, that didn't. I know there was another one who contacted me who wrote they had also made a game that was similar to Yes, Your Grace. But I feel like this system in this game is kind of ish similar, that you have to make some decisions and then I guess in between and here and there you have to do some changes to see how it will work with the people and stuff. Army. Maybe I should have done the tutorial. So I would have gotten you know, we got a question mark here though. The summary works as follows. Your current resources, future gain / loss. At the end of each scene, the end of each scene, you will lose gain the resources marked in the brackets until you change policies. Right. The money is unchanged, nobility unchanged, people +5, which is good. Is there a way to balance everything so we get so much plus on everything? Perfect balance. Diplomacy. You will send at least one ambassador to each neighboring country. Active. Costs a lot of money. You will send a full delegation to all neighboring countries. A lot of influence. Also good. What's minimum? Me. I feel like active would be. If we can balance this, we get money. We need money. Offerings. You will help finance a good part of the temples and like this costs even more money. But we get good religion and good people. This makes people really sad. This moderate is good, dear. Dismantle. No armies. Fuck that. Expand. You will properly maintain your current army. Expand. Didn't give much though. Plus, you recruit new soldiers to expand your army. Armed forces will be reduced, but they will be cheaper to maintain. How the fuck do you get money? Taxes. The people will understand and you'll receive a moderate amount of money. Why do people get so mad? -5. Can you be like -2? Can be a little bit sad, yeah. God damn. Crybabies. Why is everything so bad? Trade. Free. Oh, that's +3. Goods -2. God damn it. Controlled. Restricted. Why is it always like -5? The extreme. Please. Please. Still haven't fixed my money problem. It's -1. I need to gain money, you know? Economy, resources, farming. If we take this one, we have 0 in goods, but now we got +1 in money and a lot of nobility. -1 in goods. 15 in nobility. Nice. We got surplus. People are 0 now again. +3. +5. Is there any way to break the system? Now we get goods minus though. 3 is not really good. Guess moderate is best. Like I want the plus in each and every one, right? That would be the best. -5. They hate me. They all hate me. I don't get it. God damn it. They really balance this thing. I can't win. Can't win. I guess 15 people and it's not going, but now we get -5 in nobility. That's also kind of lame. Reset. But this one is -5. I would like money. Man, this was hard. Oh, We got plus on it in each and every one. Okay, don't touch it. Perfect. 1 plus at least in each and every one. Taxes moderate's good. Offerings moderate. Fine. Economy, farming, good for the people and goods. Yeah. Army, just maintain. And then diplomacy, cordial. Which, is, decent. I think this is a good balance for now, right? Trade free. Even super nice there, right? Foreign traders can freely come to sell and buy in Kaledia. Yeah. They don't have to give us... Yeah. We are gaining on this. Perfect. It was worth it. That sounds most excellent to me. My whole stream was just setting up a perfect balance. Your grace, your grace. Dawn has barely risen when I heard a kerfuffle at the door, and I immediately recognized Robert's voice. Oh, poof! I am dressed. I got up with a groan and quickly slipped on a dress, trying to make myself presentable before opening the door. High Priest, what's going on? I tried to remain as neutral as possible, but I was burning up with a mix of anxiety and excitement, because I had a solid guess as to what this was about. The Quadrator, he answered, Your Majesty. Nervous, he handed me the 2 letters bearing the recognizable seal of His Holiness. Your name is written on them. I didn't dare open them, Your Highness. Exhilarated, I looked at the 2 pieces of paper that were about to seal my future. One seemed official, while the other was explicitly for my eyes only. I would have liked to be alone when reading them both, but clearly it had taken Robert all he had not to break the back seal on the official letter, and he now stared at me impatiently. My throat was dry as I grabbed a paper cutter to open the correspondence, and my heart was beating so fast I had the impression everyone in the room could hear it. The Dunk, Lady DodgeMasterSama of Terrinfell, daughter of Magnus V of Terrinfell, the fierce Emperor of Kaledia. The 4 have spoken and have recognized you as the legitimate heir of the crown of Kaledia, by virtue of your blood and despite your gender. By this decree I convey the words of the gods. May your governance be respected by all the just and the poise. May your rule prosper and never stray from the fourth faith. Vermeer creditor by the grace of the 4. Yeah! I was shaking so hard I felt my legs give in, and I had to sit on my bed so I didn't fall over. I had done everything in my power to make this moment happen, but now that it was upon me, I was engulfed by all the emotions I had accumulated in the past week. Hee-ha! Robert seemed to understand me, and he bowed to leave me for a few long seconds so I could take in the Quadrator's words. Finally, he spoke up. It's marvelous, Your Majesty. I knew the 4 would acknowledge your legitimacy. Almost timidly, I nodded and tried to recover my usual composure. With the Quadrator's support, my coronation was sure to happen, but that didn't mean I was rid of enemies or other contenders. I couldn't let my guard down yet. Yes, the time has come for everyone to know the truth. Gather the nobles in the castle at dawn and prepare the pigeons. He nodded, a grave expression on his face. Yes, we can't wait any longer. The secret of your father's death could have been kept indefinitely in any case. It was true that his absence had been going on for a while, and a possible illness worried people just as much as a possible death. It was fortunate that these letters hadn't taken too long to arrive. I'll be there. I need to finish getting ready. Of course, Your Majesty. I'll have all the bells rung, but at such an early time, I don't suppose we can gather everyone in less than an hour. I approve with a polite nod, and soon I watched him leave and close the door. Finally on my own, I collapsed on the bed and let myself gloat. I whooped in pure childish joy as I read the Quadrator's letter over and over again. I knew that I had plenty of challenges ahead of me, but this was my first victory against traditions, and I intended to savor it for as long as I could. Only after a few long minutes had passed did I decide to open the second letter, which was addressed to me personally. Lady DodgeMaster de Terrinfell, thank you for your generous donation to Meridian's Great Temple. Please know that I never forget my friends. I'm sure we'll get along marvelously. Firmer Quadrator by the grace of the four. Now maybe the money worked. Money. Happy with my decision, I sighed and carefully put the letter away into my desk. Pretty promises were easy to forget. I could perhaps use the parchment to remind him of his support one day, or to show some reluctant noble just how popular I was with one of the most powerful men in the continent. In any case, I believed that my actions had managed to sway him, and I was quite proud of that. Now it was the court I had to sway, and I knew this wasn't going to be an easy task. Oh, now I have to convey more paper? Question marks? Make sure not to overexert yourself, DodgeMaster. You're spending your days locked up in this office. You should get out a bit to clear your head. Come take a walk with this old lady. Oh, it's a lady. A little save. I've learned my lessons. Demo test. Save. I left the door open, and although I hadn't heard Marjorie come over to me, I wasn't surprised, since her perfume, which she applied too liberally, had filled the room. I almost felt nostalgic for him. Contrary to what she seemed to suggest, I wasn't here for pleasure. I was overwhelmed. Invitations, solicitations, promises. I'd spent the last 3 days flattering Caledian nobility to ensure that nothing would interfere with the coronation in 3 weeks' time, and I still had a lot to do. Oh, perhaps you can fool everyone else, but I know you're far from being an old lady, Marjorie. My reply made her laugh. A hoarse and joyous sound that belied what I had just said. Oh, I still have the same quick wit I had when I was 20, but I'm afraid my whining bones disagree with you, sweetheart. Come on, don't be cruel. You already broke my poor heart when you didn't let me in on the secret. I put my quill down with a sigh and closed the inkwell, hoping its content would not dry out. She had taught me many things, and even if I had grown stronger than her in a few years, it was obvious that she still used guilt like no one else. She almost made me feel bad for hiding my father's death from her. I know full well I didn't have a choice. The information had to be disclosed to as few people as possible. I know, sweetheart, but I would have liked to be there for you. These past few days mustn't have been easy. No, they weren't indeed. Oh, we're going out. Ooh. Studio Ghibli style. Very nice. As promised, I quietly walked with Marjorie's side through the garden, but we couldn't take one step before some servant or noble offered me their condolences. I'm so tired of pretending to be sad. I know your father was a flawed man. She paused, looking at me as she seemed to hesitate to say something. I looked at her, intrigued. There was so much contempt in her voice when she spoke of his flaws that she obviously knew something about him, something I probably didn't. But no matter what anyone says, he was your family, your blood. You shouldn't hate him like that. It's not healthy, especially now that it's dead. I sensed from her tone that I'd get nothing more from her, at least not today, and I didn't insist, draping myself once again in my indignity. No, that's too easy. You can't just die and expect that all your mistakes will be forgiven. It's not as if he chose to die. And so, it doesn't change anything. He sighed, and I decided to change the subject before I had to listen to another lecture on the importance of family bonds. But since we are speaking of forgiveness, I need your help. Suspicious, she frowned, although she kept walking calmly between the flower beds. I would like it if you gave me Fear Castell? That old dilapidated fortress? What for? Pretending to admire some insects that were flying around the planters, I hesitated for a second. I needed the fortress to buy the Faram's loyalty, but Marjorie held a deep hatred for them. I didn't like lying to her, but I couldn't run the risk that she'd refuse my request. Let's just tell her the truth. I need it because I'm going to give it back to the Faram. Upon hearing my words, Marjorie froze, trembling with anger. You want to give it back to those wild traders? Do you know how many men died storming it? Do you know what this fortress cost me? I knew she would react that way. Even though the war had ended about 20 years ago, she still bore painful memories of it. Didn't she just talk about, you know, kind of forgive and forget stuff? Yes, I know all that, but it all took place before my birth. It's time we move forward and reconcile with the Faram, lest we repeat the mistakes of the past. I don't want another Faram revolt under my rule. I need their support for my coronation, and to obtain that support, I need Fear Castle. You know just as well as I do that it's only a ruin now. An old pile of rubble left on the steep and barren land is nothing more than a symbol. My old aunt grumbled for a few long minutes, but she was forced to concede my point, even if it cost her. Do what you want, but believe me, once you become Empress, I'll call in the favor. Thank you, Marjorie. I knew I could count on you. Relieved, I finally let out the breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding. Knowing the affection Marjorie held for me, I knew that I'd end up convincing her. But as I had a meeting with the Faram here in 4 days, I didn't have a lot of room for errors. With one less issue weighing on my heart, I continued my walk with a bounce in my step, forgetting for a few minutes the court's problems and plots. Day 22, we are flying by. This was my first time ever meeting Theodore of Faram. I had heard him described as a cold and distant man, but I still didn't expect him to be so glacial. I waited for him to deign reply to my greeting as courtesy demanded, but the silence between us was deafening. He only stood there, staring at me, impassive, without ever so much as a good morning or a nice to meet you, while I had to keep smiling not to lose face. I had better things to do than engage in a staring contest. Consequently, I swallowed my pride and gestured to one of the chairs around the staff table, where a large map of Khalidia had been laid out. I imagine you must be tired after such a long trip. Please, sit down. I thought he was going to stay standing there, but he did finally sit down without another word, while I took a seat not too far from him. Like I said in my letter, I'd like for the Terrinfell and the Faram to reconcile. The tension between our two families have lasted long enough, and I imagine your sudden desire to make peace has nothing to do with your upcoming coronation. The Montiliet are eating out of your hand, but the Voildor will never support you, which means you very much need us. Coming as he was from a lineage with a somewhat barbaric reputation, he had done a fairly clever analysis of the situation, but I didn't let that stop me. Very much need is a bit strong. Should I remind you that I have the support of the Order and by extension the Four, the people will follow me. That said, I do wish for my coronation to go as smoothly as possible, and the rest of my rule as well. I'd like to avoid bloodshed altogether if possible, and I fear that the ancestral enmity between our two families might lead us to just that. Neither you nor I were born when the Faram revolt took place. It's up to us to decide if we want to perpetuate the cycle of conflict, or if we want to build something new. He took on a thoughtful expression and observed me with renewed interest. Yuck. Looking good? It's easy for you to forget. You're on the side of the victors. You haven't been rehashing your resentment for 20 years. Precisely. Wouldn't it be easier for you to forget as well, especially if it's been haunting you for that long? Even if we were inclined to consider your offer of a reconciliation, how could we trust you? I won't give you a history lesson, but that revolt didn't happen for nothing. He was following me exactly where I was leading, and it took me some effort to repress a smile and keep a business-like countenance. Firstly, I'm not the same person as my father or my grandfather. It's unfair to distrust me as a result of their actions. And secondly, I'm ready to make a gesture of goodwill, if the Faram are ready to make a one as well. Come on, time to build something new. Exactly. We're moving forward. We're creating new. We can become the future. You want to get married? I'm listening. If you openly support my ascent to the throne, I'm ready to return to your family, the Fear Castel Citadel, and the land that go with it. This time, I savored the true surprise in his eyes when I handed him the deed I had taken the time to prepare. As you know, I was confiscated after... As you know, it was confiscated after the revolt. This is located at a strategic crossroad between the Terrenfell and Montiliet. I thought it would be a strong gesture to return it to you, but also quite a symbol of trust. After glancing over the signed pledge, Theodore looked at me once more, with defiance this time. There's no doubt that my family will appreciate the gesture. I was already basking in my victory when he continued, his voice cold. But as for me, it only makes me see that you're one of those politicians ready to use every dirty trick in the book if it will give you what you want. I had been warned that you're the rightful heir of that snake who used to lead the Montiliet, but now I'm seeing it with my own eyes. So yes, indeed, we will accept your offer and support your coronation, because unlike you, we stick to our word. But you should know you are not fooling me. I'll remain at the palace to make sure you don't stab us in the back as soon as you have achieved your goals. In the end, his analysis of the situation, or indeed of my character, wasn't as clever as I had thought. I was ambitious, there was no denying that. I wasn't shy about it either, but my desire to make peace was just as sincere. Stay at the castle if you wish. Dukes are welcome here at any time, but you'll get eaten alive by the court if you always speak your mind so plainly, my lord. Milord! He shrugged condescendingly before getting up. Oh, I'm very capable of defending myself, Majesty. I just choose not to use the same venom as you do. That doesn't mean I don't know how to protect myself from its sting. No, I like being called a snake, but even if it was unpleasant to be treated with such hostility by someone to whom I had never done anything, I had gotten what I wanted. I didn't wish to risk making him change his mind by starting an argument. Time will tell. I do hope you'll change your mind about me. But as long as the Faram uphold their end of the bargain, you are free to think whatever you like. Don't say that as if you were doing me a favor, Your Grace. Even empresses don't have dominion over people's thoughts. And in order to keep me from having the last word of our pointless sparring, he immediately turned on his heel and slammed the door. Yeah, you gotta be fast if you don't want the other one to say another word. Furious, I was engaged in deep breathing exercises when Alden walked in. How did things go with Theodore of Haram? I shrugged with a sigh. I suppose it was alright. At least the Faram should support my coronation. That's all that matters. How about you? Did you manage to convince Leon? Leon? From Resident Evil 4? No, joking. As you suspected, he's not inclined to support you. Apparently he and his brother fear that Khalidia will become a second Issyria. I raised my eyes to the sky, not hiding my exasperation at these words, as if it were enough for a woman to lead the empire for us to become a matriarchy. Have you at least convinced him not to openly oppose the coronation? Yes. As you suggested, I implied that a civil war wouldn't be good for business and that you were easy to manipulate. Was that enough? Yes and no. The man's smarter than I thought. He took this as an opportunity to claim the position of treasurer. Treasurer? Look at him go. Since he believes you're incompetent, he thinks that the only way for him to ensure that the country stays on the right track and that the Voildor's economical interests are preserved. Upset, I bit my lips while I pondered the implications of such a nomination. I didn't want him to stand in my way at every council meeting, but there was no valid reason for me to refuse him this privilege either. I imagine before asking for that position he encouraged the current current treasurer to retire? That's correct. A pretty house by the seaside is waiting for him, and now he can't wait to be gone. I imagine we don't have a choice then. I'll summon Leon tomorrow and pretend to be a naive ingenu who's happy to let him take on big responsibilities. I sighed heavily and Alden stepped forward me with a discreetly amused smile. Are you sure you'll manage? Manage? Playing the easily influenced ingenuine. I sighed, offered him a reassuring smile. It would not be fun having a tea with such a conservative man, but there was nothing insurmountable about it. Oh, don't worry about me. I can play dumb when I need to. I've spent my whole life appearing less dangerous than I really am. I should be able to pretend just this once. He might have some nasty surprises down the line, however. He nodded, with a gleam of pride in his eyes. I trust you then. I trust you. Day 25. Zoom. Your Grace, news of our nomination to the throne has spread quickly. We have received a letter addressed to you from the Queen Maeva of Isiria. My respects, Empress of Kalidia. I wishes to write to you so I could congratulate you on your recent nomination to the throne, as well as offer my condolences for your father's death. Assuming power is a heavy responsibility, but I have been told that you are very capable. And I know that Kalidia is in good hands. Kalidia and Isiria have always maintained solid diplomatic relations. I hope that they will continue, nay, prosper under your rule. Up until now, the matriarchs have always been opposed to non-commercial negotiations, but your nomination has made them curious. We dare to believe that in your presence, my emissaries and myself will cease to be subjected to the patronizing condescensions that your predecessors invariably displayed. And that made my country's past rulers so wary of further interactions. The gods whispered to me that your ascension to the throne signals the dawn of a new era for the continent. Therefore, I wish to support you as much as I can. With the matriarch's assent, I have decided to mandate an emissary whose role is to be whose role it will be to liaise between our two nations. Her name is Asha Isabis. She is an exceptional woman who, I hope, will be welcomed into your palace as she deserves. With all my sympathy, Maeva, Queen of Isiria. I think she is one of the love interest you can do in this story. That's wonderful news. I'll need as many allies as possible during my rule. Indeed, diplomacy is a delicate art, but it's fundamental for Kalidia's prosperity. You'll need to woo the neighboring countries and ensure their goodwill towards us. Diplomacy is not available. Oh yeah, there's some stuff that's not a part of the demo, some gameplay elements. But we'll talk about it later. For now, we have a coronation to organize. We're gonna become the queen. We're gonna empress. We're gonna become empress. Boom! Wow, we're dressed. Woo! We're running back and forth. The big day had finally come. Impatient and nervous, I paced my bedroom while checking my hair and my outfit for the nth time. Nothing was easy as per usual. I was supposed to display poise, elegance, and grandeur, all while remaining humble. All right then. Despite all that, I felt ready and dignified, and I only waited to hear from Alexander, who would escort me, since my father wasn't in state to do so. Because he's dead. Alexander, my, look at that armor. Shiny. Very nice. Time was passing by at an infuriating slow pace when finally he knocked and walked into the room. Clad in his ceremonial attire, that armor and the pompous cape that went with it didn't suit him, and I suppressed a smile when I saw him squeezed into it. Ready, Your Grace? Almost timidly, I nodded while he politely bowed to let me pass in front of him. Then he followed suit, respectfully walking one step behind. Beautiful clothes. Yeah, look at that. You can just... It's so pretty. So pretty. You know, that's me, but it's also, you know, her and I don't know. Am I this? Could I be this? It's so pretty. Let's go. Her Grace, DodgeMaster. My name. The Daredevil, Princess of Kaledia, Duchess of Terranfell, Lady of Vermont, blessed by Horrell. I closed my eyes and savored this title that I was hearing for the last time. When the herald would announce me next, I would be Empress of Kaledia. No. Ooh, a lot of pretty people. I didn't remember having ever seen the throne room this packed. Clearly, when I had been told that the entire castle had gathered here, it hadn't been an exaggeration. To try and hide my nervousness, I walked at a slow pace, my head held high, my eyes leveled at the throne. Yes, my throne. But my curiosity slowly got the better of me, and while I tried to remain as dignified as I could, I let my gaze wander discreetly in search of familiar faces. Alden, of course, ooh, very nice clothes, very pretty, stood right next to my throne, his face impassive, but its eyes bright enough that I could see the pride reflected in them. Robert was there too, my future crown already held in his hands. He did his best to appear as imposing as his function required him to be. Yeah. With those clothes and that hairstyle, you would look fab too. In the future, let's do a cosplay. Let's do a cosplay, dress up and stuff. Yeah. In the noblest section, I recognize Leon of... that's Leon. Okay. Of Voldor, surrounded by his family, conversing with other nobles who were vaguely familiar to me. To my surprise, I also spotted Theodore. Leaning against a pillar, his gloomy aura seemed to hold people at bay so that he wasn't drowning in unknown faces. Gloomy people. As I passed by her, Marjorie gave me a smile, and I felt her perfume reach me, calming me despite its loud scent. Finally, the last steps stretched before me, and I suddenly realized that I couldn't hear the crowd's hubbub anymore. The only sound was my heart beating in my temples. Are we gonna have a heart attack? Ceremoniously, I knelt in front of this throne that was still forbidden to me. Soon I had cause to praise whomever had the brilliant idea to place a small cushion under my knees. The blessings were proceeding at an infuriatingly slow pace. I listened to them with only half an ear, but I still displayed my most serious and focused face to honor the solemnity of the ceremony. The day before, Robert had asked me if I wanted to celebrate tradition by taking the name of one of my predecessors, or if I'd rather start my own dynasty. Ooh! Your reign name will be Melisandre II. Oh, they're gonna change my name. Keep my name. Don't try me. I understood the importance of traditions, but I was much too proud of who I was to give up my name, my identity. DodgeMaster. Echo. I wanted to carry it with pride for as long as I could rule. I didn't know the sermon by heart, but I knew it would soon be ending, since the whole place seemed to grow livelier. With each passing second, both the crowd and Robert's voice vibrated with renewed excitement until the key moment came. I closed my eyes and braced myself for the weight of the surprisingly light crown that he held delicately placed upon my head. Duh. Rise up, DodgeMaster, the first Terranfell, Empress of Kaledia, first of her name, Duchess of Terranfell, Lady of Vermont, chosen by the Four and blessed by Horrell. You shall bow no longer, since from this day and until your death, in the name of the gods, I entrust you with the charge of guiding your subjects and making Kaledia shine bright for the decades to come. Crown on my head. Slowly I rose and turned around to sit on the throne that had been meant for me. Then I opened my eyes to look at the crowd. It suddenly went quiet, and an almost religious silence settled in for a few seconds. Everybody will know the name. DodgeMaster. Long live Empress DodgeMaster the First. Alexander's voice resounded next to me, oddly loud, and as it shadowed this almost dreamlike moment, cheers arose from all sides in a spectacular chaos. The general enthusiasm was contagious, and I caught myself smiling and waving at the crowd with a bit too much vigor. Hey guys. Yeah, that would be me. The party was in full swing, and if I was still beaming, my head was starting to hurt with the incessant solicitations of people come to pay their respects. You should empty this glass into a flower pot and ask one of the servants to pour you grape juice instead. Or maybe I had too much wine. If I was being honest, I couldn't remember how many times my glass had been refilled, but one thing I knew, it had never stayed empty. Probably been drinking a little bit too much, yeah. Even if Marjorie was probably right, I pouted. Come on, Marjorie. Am I not allowed to have a bit of fun? It is my coronation day after all. She shook her head with a tender smile. You can't do this precisely because it's your coronation day, sweetheart. Some people might be subtler about it than others, but everyone is watching you and judging you. He was right, and I knew it. I had let myself relax perhaps a bit too much, carried away by my enthusiasm. That acknowledgement didn't stop me from heaving a deep sigh of despair. Well, I didn't come here to coddle you. I know you're perfectly capable of managing the situation. I just wanted to officially congratulate you. No one deserves this title more than you, and you'll make an incredible empress. Her face sparkled with pride and affection, and I felt my heart melt under her praise. Her opinion had always mattered a lot to me, and I felt myself go back to the little girl I once was, who always sought her approval. I hesitated for an instant, but finally I let myself gently hug her, making sure not to spill my glass on her in the process. Thank you, Marjorie. Thank you for everything. She kindly stroked my hair, and I stayed in her embrace for a few moments, just long enough to regain control of my emotions, which were threatening to make me cry. Oh, Twitch is in a commercial again. She gently patted my back to remind me of my duties, and I finally let go of her, my face now wearing a more neutral expression. Empress DodgeMaster the First. Woohoo! Winning! Yeah, I'm just waiting a little bit for Twitch to, catch up. It says there are 2 viewers, and Iron Pilot is sitting in there, so if she's still there, can I have a little drink a little water moment? Doodle 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 doo, doodle doo doo doo. I am thinking after tomorrow I'm going to do a somehow I'm gonna do a sum up of this whole festival week, lessons learned and all of that, kind of like a report of how things have been going. And what an accomplishment for you. Yes, I never imagined myself to become empress, but yeah, well, I will do a little sum up. It's also, I think mostly, the videos has been lagging behind. I'm editing Decadent Air right now, and it's probably, quite a bit left. And then today I was actually going to... Decadent Era was supposed to release yesterday. And then... today I was gonna release Do Not Buy This Game, and I think that is a short demo. Since it is a short demo, depending on how this game goes now, if we are close to the end or not, they said 2 to 3 hours for this demo. So maybe we have, you know, we're close to the end, or it might be a bit left. But if it is not so much left, we could potentially do a Friday and we can do Not Buy This Game after this one. That way, again, I have done another safe maneuver. And then tomorrow, it's the last stream and the last video planned for the week. So if I get Decadent Air out, and then the video for tomorrow, which is what was it called? Something before they catch us. I don't know how long that demo is either, but if I can play Do Not Buy This Game tonight, then I only need to get Decadent Air done, and then I can jump on to doing the last game video tomorrow. And then in the evening we're playing Psycho Sleuth. Psycho Sleuth. Medium left, triple caution, fast, medium right. Left, right. She gently patted my back to remind me of my duties and finally let go of her. My face now wearing a more neutral expression. Go on, sweetheart. I won't keep you any longer. People are queuing to talk to you. He was right. As much as they tried to hide it, many people stood nearby, waiting for an opportunity to pounce on me as soon as I'd be free. The quickest to the mark was a young woman I had never seen before. One look at the pretty dreadlocks she sported, decorated with small golden jewels, told me her background. I think that's the one we can have as a love interest, actually. I think it's her. Question marks. Magnificent coronation, Your Grace. Her melodious accent convinced me I was right, and I flashed her a courteous smile. Thank you, Lady Asha, are you not? She seemed surprised for a second, then her face lit up. Well, I'm flattered you recognized me before I could even introduce myself. I don't know who spoke of me to you, but I do hope they said good things. She gave a small laugh, as if to brush off this pleasantry, which I knew had much deeper meaning. After all, I had indeed heard a lot about her, both from Queen Maeva, who had warmly recommended her to me, and from Robert, who had tried to paint her as an ungodly heathen and temptress the minute she had set foot in the capital. Of course, your queen keeps showering you with praise. Then allow me to return her kindness and to tell you how fantastic Maeva is. She'll make a formidable ally. Her familiar way of talking about her ruler made me quirk an eyebrow, but I didn't mention it. After all, the Syrian customs were much different from ours, and her relationship with her queen was none of my concern. As long as she did use the same casual tone while talking about Khalidian nobility, there would be no issue. In any case, I do hope Khalidia is to your liking, Lady Asha. Unfortunately, I still haven't had the time to visit your beautiful lands and to taste your many specialties. Therefore, the question may be a bit premature. She gave me a smile, but it didn't reach her. She gave me a smile, but it didn't reach her eyes, which made me see that her answer was an elegant way to not speak ill of the place without lying. Weh. Now that it was my castle and my nation, it did upset me a little, but I couldn't be mad at her for finding the place a bit drab. My father had never had a keen eye for interior design. I was about to ask her more futile questions when Robert stepped into the space between us. The gesture was overtly rude, but this position allowed him to act in that manner, and I turned away from Asha to listen to what he had to say. Your Majesty, please forgive me for interrupting, but I must speak with you on a topic of the utmost importance. He barely hid the dirty look he gave Asha. She understood the message and gracefully curtsied. I'll go breathe some fresh air in the gardens, if you excuse me, Your Majesty. I mentally took note of where to find her if I wanted to continue the conversation, and bowed to her in lieu of goodbye. Then I focused my attention on Robert, wondering with some trepidation if something bad had happened. What's going on? Don't worry, Your Majesty. Nothing that will spoil your night. I just wanted to make sure that you were taking my warnings about the Assyrian diplomat seriously. He really squeezed himself in there. Yeah. Like, excuse me. I don't find it trustworthy at all. I had to hold back a sigh. It was quite distressing to see him go to such trouble only to interrupt my conversation with a foreign dignitary. Please be comforted. She wasn't inviting me to dance naked in the sea in honor of the snake goddess Sif. I had said it in a playful tone, hoping to lighten the mood, but he looked even more upset. You should take this issue at heart. These people are insidious. They seem nice, you let your guard down, and by the time you realize you've fallen into the trap of a witch, it's much too late. I didn't have the patience to hear more of this, and I took an offended expression. I wasn't really religious, but that wasn't the point. My faith for the Four was sincere, and I was truly offended. Sure. Sure, I don't know. I'd always relied on the gods, and I couldn't tolerate anyone implying that my convictions were unsteady, or that I'm so easily influenced, especially given the importance of the order within Khalidia. Rather than righteous anger, I gave Robert a withering look. Do you believe my faith could be so easily shaken, High Priestess? High Priest? Taken aback, he immediately softened and apologized profusely. I relaxed in return. I'm taking note of your worries, and I promise I will be careful. But you must also understand that you simply cannot say such things about a foreign guest, especially not in public. This could have serious diplomatic consequences. He scowled once more but didn't say a word, politely bowing instead. I understand, Your Grace. A short silence passed between us before he turned away, mumbling something about prayers he had to make. For the first time of the night I found myself alone, and no one came to talk to me, perhaps for fear of getting caught in the fallout from this tense conversation. I enjoyed that respite and decided to go talk to... And now... These are the three love interests. Who should we go talk to? Who should we go and talk to? That is the question. Theodore, Alexander, or Asha? So Asha is the woman that just is from the... Yeah, the woman we just talked to, right? She can be one love interest. But Robert says we shouldn't really trust her, right? Alexander is seems to be a guard and something. He's been the guard for like the king and for also ourselves for many years, as I understand it. And then Theodore is from the Faram, or that place, and he seems, you know, a little bit cold and whatnot and stuff. The question is, who would we go and talk to? Because I'm gonna guess this kind of potentially starts to initiate a little bit of the love story thing. I'm gonna go with Theodore for this time, just because it's a demo and we're just having a little bit of fun and just see what happens. Theodore, Mr. Grumpy. Yep, that's the guys I like. Look at those clothes, fancy. It wasn't hard to spot since he was nonchalantly leaning against the wall in the most deserted corner of the throne room, snubbing the drinks as well as the buffet. A few ladies were ogling him, but they didn't dare to come close, and I couldn't understand them. His gloomy face wasn't inviting me to chat with him either, but as Majorie had reminded me, these kinds of parties weren't meant for my own enjoyment. The two were tools of the political game. Mr. Grumpy. It mattered to strengthen my bonds with the Faram, and even more to show the court that our enmity was now in the past. Lost in his thoughts, he didn't seem to see me until I leaned back on the cool marble wall next to him. The party isn't to your liking, my lord of Faram. If he was surprised, he didn't show it, and he raised his eyes to meet mine, before scanning me from head to toe. I'm not particularly fond of these displays of vanity, no. That was certainly a take on things, but it didn't give me much room to react. I grew thoughtful as I considered what I should say, unsure how to communicate with someone this closed off. I am safe. Might be an important conversation, time to think. The idea struck me when I heard the tune of... Oh, now we're gonna dance. The tune of the waltz floating through the air. I immediately straightened up. You should invite me to dance. It was worth it, if only to see his stunned face. In fact, he seemed so shocked that his scowling gnome-like mask disappeared, making him look surprisingly fragile. I beg your pardon? You said it yourself. We are in the middle of a show, and appearances are everything. I can see that you are not willing to chit-chat, but people are watching us. Neither you nor I want the court to think that the crown and the Faram are still at odds. So shall we dance? That is, unless you do not know how to dance, of course. He hesitated, but my last comment seemed to tick him off. It really dusted off his jacket. Of course I know how to dance. Well then, prove it. This time I didn't leave him a choice, and I courtesied as if I had just accepted his invitation. He looked at my hand with suspicion, as if simply touching it was going to burn him. But finally he took it and led me a bit farther towards the center of the room, where other guests were already dancing. I was almost surprised to find his fingers pleasantly warm. Well, he's not a vampire, I guess. His behavior was so cold that part of me expected his skin to be freezing, like that of a devilish creature, like a vampire. Out of curiosity, as much as out of deference, we were given much more room than necessary. Another couple stepped aside or completely left the floor to observe us. My talents as a dancer were all right, but they weren't extraordinary. I felt nervous despite myself as I tried to keep my head high and my back straight, as dignified as possible. You are suddenly very tense for someone who threw a tantrum to be invited to dance. Of course he had felt it, and his smile, sincere for once, showed that he had fun teasing me. That made me grumble. Just lead properly, will you? I heard a hint of a laugh while he waited for the right measure and slid into the dance with surprising fluidity. He wasn't lying. He knew how to dance very well, even, despite his badly positioned hand a bit too high and not firmly enough to properly lead me. I could anticipate his movements with ease. He was a good guide, and his own gestures were precise and gracious. On the other hand, I was glad that everything was working out, but on the other, it bothered me a little to acknowledge his merits. Make him tight in his holes. Both are nice, but leads to different... complimenting. But I knew I must not let my pride dictate my behavior. I was here to strengthen our bonds, after all. Well, it seems you weren't bragging. You're an excellent dancer indeed, Theodore. My compliment seemed to catch him off guard, almost as much as my invitation to dance had. I felt him falter for a second, and he almost lost the perfect rhythm he had led us to so far. You're not so bad yourself. Romance. Mr. Grumpy Romance. I knew this was the best I'd get out of him, and I smiled while he led me into a slightly stiffer twirl. Neither of us opened our mouth until the last measure played, and we finally separated in an elegant courtesy under scattered applause. Clap, 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 clap. Well, I thank you for this moment, Theodore. I won't keep you busy any longer. I see you're having quite some success. Out of the corner of my eye, I glanced at the young ladies who had gotten closer and now waved their fans with, while ostensibly oogling the Lord of Faram. Perhaps they had more respect for etiquette than I did, since none of them dared to accost him and openly ask for a dance. Still, he sighed and glared at me, apparently holding me responsible for the sudden attention he was receiving. I ruthlessly abandoned him to his admirers and was surprised to see him play the part of the courteous gentleman after all smiles and polite comments. Clearly, I was the only one for whom he refused to make such an effort. Ah, so grumpy. Spring, day 37. Your Grace, as you surely know, an essential task comes with your role as a ruler is to listen to your subjects' petitions. They have accumulated since your father's death and even before. He was never very fond of that duty. Now that you have been crowned, you'll need to dedicate them a fair share of your time. It's especially important because the other advisors and myself have gotten used to lodging petitions on matters that require your attention, but do not fit into the council's agenda. I am ready. Should I do the tutorial this time? Tutorials, I'm ready. What's the worst thing gonna happen? I'll do a save. Demo test. People talk. Sense. Back. Perfect. From now on, I'll put the petitions on your desk, but while we're at it, allow me to submit you one of mine. It's quite an urgent one. Took a moment to rummage through the items on the table before handing me a sealed parchment roll. There you go. Well then. I'll let you study that on your own and go about your business. Feel free to go through more of them, so you can grow familiar with the process. You will be informed of their outcomes in due time. Sorry. Even if the crown is yours, I'd be wary of your bastard brothers. For some, an illegitimate son is far better than a woman, and I wouldn't want the nobility to use this excuse so they can rid of you the first chance they get. I have tasked the Master of Murmurs with investigating them. At the moment, it seems that most of them live a modest life as craftsmen or servants, but the simplest minds can be the easiest to sway, especially since you haven't established any bond with them, which means that nothing will stop them from betraying you. I suggest dealing with the issue in a permanent way. God damn it. You always want to just murder. Murder. Well, I thought at least that was what he meant. You're right, it's best not to take any risks. Though I loathe these methods, I can't risk a civil war or a coup. I have given too much of myself to end up like that. Have them assassinated. Yeah, okay, he was talking about assassination. Every single time. As long as they haven't done anything to me. I feel like, again, kind of like with a better world, and you could have the chat do choices. This could also be a fun thing to have like prepared choices. And just to be like, assassinate or not. Assassinate or not. The chat would be like, kill them. Kill them out. Kill them out. As long as they haven't done anything to me, I refuse to let the paranoia get the best of me and have them assassinated. However, I do recognize that my half-brothers are a threat, and I believe we should definitely keep an eye on them. Assign spies to each of them, and we'll decide how to react if they start plotting against me. I refuse to become a tyrant like my father, and to let paranoia trap me in a spiral of violence. So I'll take the opposite approach. I'll make them happy, which should ensure that they don't have any desire to take my title from me, or to cause me harm. Send someone to ask them what they want and do your best to satisfy their wishes, but make sure they're aware of my role as their patron. Well, I will say the middle one. Sounds good. Maybe. Hopefully. Your Grace, all our spies are in place, and for the moment, they haven't noticed anything suspicious. Following the first report, I've decided to set up increased surveillance around Aaron Willis, who appears to be having a fling with the daughter of a local lord, and Yassine Licordonnier, as he is at the court of the Count of Various Court. I'll keep you updated on the situation's evolution. Ah, true, but yeah, could easily just be murder all the way then. It would be funny just to create, you know, chaotic streams and stuff. You know, all for the content and fun. Master of Murmurs. Okay, sounds good. Activities. Number of remaining turns, 2. This feature is not available in the demo. Okay. Well, let's do some petitions. Grace, the scholars would like to expand the Academy of Astrarok in order to welcome more aspirants. Their numbers grow every year, and besides, the Dean would like to extend the duration of some training courses, as our knowledge in some fields has deepened and become more detailed over time. The scholars have raised the required funds thanks to several generous donors, but since the Academy is located in the very middle of the capital, its expansion requires raising some of the shops and lodgings that have been built around it. The people are not thrilled at the idea. With or without your help, the Academy will prosper, but it is always good to foster one's friendships. High Priest Robert. Displacing a few stalls and lodging is a small price to pay to extend our academy and hereby increase the splendor of our influence throughout the world. I'll enact a decree to authorize this expansion, and I'll make sure that the people are decently rehomed. But my money, I'm not so rich. This costs a lot, Jesus. I understand the importance of offering quality education to our scholars and future scholars, but that cannot be done at the expenses of the people's comfort. We will build another academy away from the center so that it has all the room it needs to grow in the future. The Crown will fund the additional cost generated by such a construction. The safety of my people is my priority. The Academy has always fared well under its current mode of operation. It'll have to find other solutions to adapt its education. Big basements open up an access. When there's a will, there's a way. I feel like the last one sounds pretty good. Not gonna lie. I'm gonna take the last one. I think it was a good way, you know. -2 in religion. Fuck religion. Sorry, Robert. Erased, to no one's surprise, the scholars are outraged by your lack of support, but as you expected, they have already launched wide-scale construction work to expand the main tower and dig up underground room. Yeah. Oh, this wasn't so bad, right? That will take more time, and I have heard that they are planning on increasing tuition fees to balance out these losses, but without a doubt, knowledge will prosper. I had faith in you. You apparently don't have faith in me. Politics. Oh, yeah, this one. Well, I would say it still looks good. +1, +1, +2, +2, +5, +5. We're being loved by the people and nobility, and money is coming in slowly, and religion, and yeah, all good. Oh, that was it. Okay. Oops. Maybe I should have checked more. I don't know. I was really glad to be Empress now, but as I had expected, I hadn't had a single moment to myself since my coronation. There was an endless and continuous stream of people paying their respects to me and a more or less futile issue to solve. Even if I was happy to finally be able to exercise my power legitimately, I also felt that I needed a break. Thus, after taking care of the most urgent matters, I had decided to take a moment to relax in my bedroom, gardens, library. I feel the gardens would be nice. You'll talk with Ash. I don't know if I want to talk with Asha. No. You'll talk with Alexander. Talk with Theodore. guess my bedroom. Sounds like the best way to go to. I would go to my bedroom, you know, and if Alexander is there, fine. I walked towards my room, my steps slow, trying to make myself small so I could avoid meeting someone who would recall me to my responsibilities. Relieved to have only encountered a few maids and the guards standing before my door, I was about to gracelessly collapse on my bed when I saw someone lying on the floor. What the hell? My first thought was that I was dealing with a corpse, and I froze until the corpse started moving. Since they didn't make the slightest attempt to hide, I doubt that they were an assassin, but after what had happened to my father, I couldn't justify any carelessness. Guards, help! There's an intruder in my room! Slam. My cries seemed to surprise said intruder, who tried to get up a tad too quickly and bumped their head against the bed frame. It's just me, Majesty. Recognizing Alexander's voice, I felt my heart slow down. I gave a reassuring sign to the two soldiers who had just run into the room. They looked just as confused as I was at the spectacles of the general sprawn on my bedroom floor. Rubbing his head all the while, Alexander finally stood up in a much more dignified posture and cleared his throat. At rest, soldiers. I was just doing a preventative sweep of Her Majesty's room. The men seemed to hesitate, and I nodded to give my assent, letting them return to their posts. I hadn't let anything show while they were there, but once they had left, I crossed my arms and stared at Alexander. The situation was just too fishy, and I was sure there was more to it. A preventative sweep? Were you worried an assassin was hiding under my bed, Alexander? I was used to not having any real intimacy in my quarters. There were always people coming and going to help me get ready or to clean things up, but this was the first time I had caught someone trying to search the place. Well, actually... He was nervously fidgeting with some sort of leather pouch that he held in his hands, which made me quirk an eyebrow. Stop beating around the bush. What are you hiding? He handed me the pouch in question with a sigh, and I saw its rather unpleasant contents. Little bones mixed with dried plants. Voodoo. I had never seen anything like that before, but I knew very well what it was. A pagan amulet, most likely placed here to curse me. Ah. This thing was under my bed? Under the mattress, yes. But I was trying to check if there were more of them, just in case. I was superstitious. I reckon it won't hurt to search a little more. Like everyone in Kalidia, I was sensitive to this kind of superstitions. Surely there was no smoke without fire. A few minutes spent searching through my things was a small price to pay to feel at ease after all. Assisted by Alexander, I endeavored to look under the furniture and in the closets. I thought I heard a small sigh of relief when I decided to look through my undergarments myself, sparing both of us that small indignity. Our rummaging taste lasted 10 minutes at most, since he had already searched most of the room before I came in. Well, that's reassuring. We only have to get rid of one of these things. Alright, I'll give it to the priest and ask them to neutralize its nefarious effects. Alexander looked rather doubtful, and I didn't think he believed the object would be dangerous in any real sense. That was indeed the regular procedure. As for me, I would have been reassured to know it had been purified, but I couldn't take that risk. No. ... Make sure to keep this to yourself. If this ever reaches Robert, he will be liable to embark on a heathen hunt, which would be much likelier to deal real damage to a great many people. Alexander looked doubtful, but he bowed without saying a word. I knew I could trust him. To lighten up the mood, I asked in an amused voice. So, do you often conduct thorough sweeps of my room in search of pageant amulets, General? Despite my obvious teasing tone, he took my words to heart and replied in a serious voice. No, this is the first time. I was alerted by the behavior of one of the servants. Once more, I quirked a brow to invite him to continue. One of the maids who take care of the cleaning in your quarters suddenly fell ill, and another insisted on replacing her. I found that suspicious, especially after learning that she had disappeared. I decided to have a look through your room. I see. I wasn't aware that you are staying apprised of the servants' gossip. I'm not. I only asked the Master of Murmurs to inform me of any suspicious changes. I see. Well, I thought these kinds of things eventually happen, that my coronation wouldn't please everyone. One more witch, one less witch, that won't change things much. That's true, still. I'm sorry I had to see that. I know you are overworked and I didn't want to bother you with something so futile. I appreciate your concern, Alexander, but I'm not burnt out yet, if that can make you feel better. But you can't deny you haven't had a lot of rest these past few days, Your Majesty. I can't deny that indeed. I don't regret a thing, but in all honesty, I didn't expect to be this busy with daily affairs. Even though the succession went smoothly, my father's assassination did cause quite a chaos. It's going to take me a lot of time and energy to put things fully back in order. It won't be easy. But we all know you'll succeed, Your Grace. The realm couldn't wish for a better empress in this time of crisis. Your trust warms my heart, but I haven't been empress nearly long enough for you to be this confident, you know? Absolutely not. I completely trust your abilities. I trust in me! Yeah. I knew every one of his compliments was sincere, and I felt myself blush a little in response to such devotion. Thank you. Your unwavering support is more than welcome. It's important for any ruler to be supported. My duty is to help you, and I shall fulfill it to the best of my abilities. He stopped for a moment, letting his shoulders relax. And I can't help but be afraid for you. Afraid? Because of my father's assassin? He had a blank moment. He had a blank moment and seemed to hesitate for a few seconds, then shook his head vigorously at his words. No, I can't protect you from an assassin. I was thinking of everything else. He quickly nodded at the amulet he was still holding. I'm not made of glass, Alexander. I can live with the animosity of those who don't want to see me on the throne. Don't misunderstand, Your Grace. I would never think of you as weak, but ruling isn't famous for being an easy thing. I'm not worried about the Empress, but rather about you. Precisely because you want to be an exceptional Empress. Even though you're strong, everyone can slip up, Your Grace. He was right about that. To believe oneself above difficulties was the best way to drown in them. I understand your worries, and they move me. Please believe that. But I know how to take care of myself. I'm not some sort of peasant who woke up one day and had to take on this role without any sort of preparation. My father had me taken away from the court long ago, but I had the best teachers. My entire life has been built on the premise that I'd be empress one day, and now I am. Alexander sighed and seemed to waver for a moment. I admire your determination, Your Grace. You're right to be proud of your abilities. I just hope your pride won't lead you to overexert yourself. Well, I was gonna rest, but then you were in my room. So, you know, you kind of took away my rest time here, you know? But I digress, and I'm overstepping my duties. Please forgive me for bothering you with all this. Without leaving me the time to add anything else, he bowed and made for the door. Once again, congratulations on your coronation, DodgeMaster. Yes, that's my name. I'm excited to see you. I'm excited to see what you will make of this kingdom. Well, now I need to go back to work. Your Grace, I know you wish to remain discreet about the situation, but I cannot stand that someone attempts to curse you are going unpunished. With the Master of Murmur's help, I think I have identified the page and servant who put the trinket under your bed. For the moment, we have remained discreet. We will await your orders before we take action. This could give us an opportunity to learn more about the situation. General Alexander. Don't say. I don't want unnecessary bloodshed. Find an excuse to fire her and tell her that she shouldn't come near me in the future if she doesn't want the order to find out about her little secret. You're right, we can't let this opportunity to gather information pass us by. Keep a discreet eye on her. She might lead us to other pageants, and we might learn more about their intentions towards me. Arrest her and interrogate her in the dungeon on her intentions and her practices. Well, I still got a lot of these. 116, yeah, let's do that. We are actively... Oh, +1 in religion. We are actively keeping an eye on Miranda, but for the time being, we have not learned anything, apart from a few ridiculous and harmless rituals. Her life is just as mundane as it is boring, and she does not seem to be meeting with other pageants or actively working to bring about your downfall. Master of Murmurs. Okay. We got 2 more turns. Well, I don't want to change my politics, so let's just keep it at date. Your Grace, it doesn't come as a surprise, but rumors that you have had your father assassinated are starting to spread. Apparently, some letter you sent a few years ago to one of your tutors in which you poured out your hatred for your father is being circulated along with these accusations as proof of your evil doing. At the moment, we still do not know who is behind these rumors, especially since boards are spreading the information all across the realm. What shall we do? Master Murmurs. Oh, I have written my emotions in a letter. God damn it. Oh, this is a big one. Okie doke. Round up and lock up all the bards who spread these rumors. Then find all copies of the letters and destroy them. Finally make it known that it is now forbidden to even mention the subject. And anyone who does so will suffer the same fate. That sounds me. If the rumor is already making the rounds, we might as well use it to our advantage. I'll announce that I haven't murdered my father, but that I despise him, and that this hatred means I wish to be a very different ruler from what he was. His death is a gift that has been presented to us by the Four. Everyone feared him. If they didn't hate him in this way, we should find support among those who criticized him. I wonder who could have started the rumor and obtained the letter. Send our agents to investigate my former tutor's old residence. Once we know who stole the letter, we can use the situation to our advantage and accuse the thief of having assassinated my father. And if we need further proof, we can always fabricate something. I think I'm going to go with the middle one. That sounds exciting. See what happens. You're 15 plus... Oh, minus 15 in nobility. Damn. Well, as long as the people love me, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Your straightforwardness and your very aggressive approach to these rumors has taken your enemies by surprise. It does not matter who spread these rumors. They have lost a lot of their influence, even if a few obstinate fools still believe them. The nobility, however, did not appreciate the brutality you displayed. They accuse you of harming etiquette by admitting such hatred towards your predecessor and father. Nevertheless, if the people is still doubtful, your words seems to have touched their hearts, and it seems that they like you more now. Master of Murmurs. Interesting. Let's do another one. Good morning, Your Grace. In need of support, I take the liberty of writing to you despite the borders that separate us, hoping that you will not take offense. Following a painful illness, my father, the Grand Duke Edgar de Belarus, recently died. May his soul rest in peace. As his only direct heir, I would normally receive his titles and lands, but some cousins of the family have decided otherwise. Since I'm not married, these dear cousins argue that there must be a patriarch for the family to run smoothly. Of course, my father's title and possessions are all they care about, and they have no use for me. I fear I can't protect what's mine from their shenanigans. Your ascension to the throne despite criticism is an inspiration to me, and that's why I took the liberty of asking for your help today. I know that Khalidia's influence in my country is limited due to the animosity between our two nations, but I have no doubt that you are a resourceful woman who will be able to offer me valuable advice if not involve yourself on my behalf. Very respectfully and with my sincere friendship, Lady Alina de Belarus. Okay. Cost. Free. Oh, this one cost a lot. I understand your position too well. It's true that my opinion carries little weight with the administration of Vargas, but everyone knows how slow your country is administratively. If your cousin's request were to disappear, it would give you much more time to firm up your position. A piece of paper is easily lost, so have faith in your lucky star. Beyond the complex laws of inheritance is often those who have the means to assert their rights to get what they want. A show of strength will convince the Emperor that you are the most suitable person to take over the estate. I'll send you some resources that will help you in this process. I trust you'll return the favor when you have obtained what is rightfully yours. That would get me down to 10, 10, and money. 7. I sympathize with your difficulties. Unfortunately, as you pointed out, I am not welcome in Vargas, so I can only advise you to find a powerful person in your own country to support you. I sincerely hope you succeed in asserting your rights. I feel like the middle one again. It will cost me some money also and stuff, but let's give it a try. +5 nobility, +5 goods, and +3 money. Basically, I only paid 1 money. Your Grace, I don't know how to express my gratitude. I cannot describe the look on my cousins' faces when I arrived flanked by my guards in the magistrate's good graces, thanks to a few well-placed gifts and with some compromising information to soften them up. I have been able to recover the title and lands that were rightfully mine, and my cousins have now become very kind in hope of scourging up a few favors, so I'll be able to protect my inheritance as my late father wished. As a token of my gratitude, I'm sending you a shipment of marble from the Belarus quarries, and I've also added some of my favorite jewelry, which I'm sure will look beautiful on you. Even if our respective countries haven't always been on good terms, please know that I consider you a friend and that you can count on me in the future. I wish you a prosperous rule, and I hope to be able to meet you someday. Respectfully, Lady Alina Belarus, Duchess of Belarus. Ring, day 52. All right. Oh, we're almost at 3 hours. I really thought, the demo was close to the end, but it's gotta be close to the end, right? Am I taking that much time? The days passed by in a blur, all similar to each other. New petitions to manage, new events to participate in, influential people to flatter. I had never had any illusions. I had always known that my life as an empress would be mainly paced by paperwork and diplomatic discussions. But sometimes it got a bit much. I knew the decisions I was making could change lives and minds, and I hoped that under my rule, my kingdom would prosper. But I couldn't see the results of my hard work after a mere few weeks. I had to settle for little victories, and sometimes I caught myself hoping for something, anything to disrupt my day. Unfortunately, nothing seemed to be on the cards. Master murmurs, Your Grace, would you have a few moments to spare me? Startled out of my daydreaming, I looked at the unfinished letter in front of me and pushed it aside to give my full attention to the Master of Murmurs, who removed his hood after closing the door. Of course, I'm all ears. Today, a wandering caravan coming from Vargas was attacked by bandits while they were crossing the Elm Bridge. The merchandise was stolen, the guards were killed, and the people in the caravan are now being held hostage to be ransomed. By the 4, that's awful. I was now used to be the one who must find solutions, and I immediately started going through them in my mind. That bridge is a strategic location. It should have been better protected. We'll send men over there, and I'll ask Marjorie to send hers as well. Her men are closer by. They should be able to rescue the area, secure the area, and limit the disruption to that heavily trafficked commercial road. And put a bounty on these bandits. We have to find the hostage and deal with their captors as decisively as possible. Patiently, he let me finish, but as I saw his expression, I realized there was more to it, and I frowned. Is there something in particular that I should know about this caravan, Master of Murmurs? Softly, he nodded. Amongst the captured people is one of my agents, a master of spying and infiltration. He had been in Vargas for a few months to keep an eye on a family of nobles, and he was urgently coming back with some vital information. Does that have to do with my father's assassination? Do you think Vargas is guilty of it? No, at first glance, there's no connection. Your father's assassination is still under investigation, even if I have to admit that at the moment we are somewhat stalled. Then what is it about? That's precisely the issue. I don't know. Apparently it was crucial information. My agent has always been excessively prudent. He feared that his mail might be intercepted, and therefore he was reluctant to send me written information, even if our messages are always coded. So you're telling me that one of our spies who infiltrated Vargas has been captured not far from the border while he was coming back with information of the utmost importance, and that you have no clue what it is? Finally, now that the four had decided to grant my wish of a little more excitement, I started regretting wishing for it in the first place. The situation didn't bode well. That's correct. Like you, I do find this coincidence suspicious, but we can't be sure of anything. If they just wanted to cover their tracks, they could have simply killed him right there and then, as well as the guards. Maybe they just got rid of the body? We can't exclude that possibility, but we have received a demand of ransom addressed to his family. Like the other 4 hostages, I don't know. Well, in any case, we have to clear up the situation quickly. Do we have other agents stationed in Vargas who could try to learn what our spy knows? A few, yes, but I'm afraid that they won't be discreet enough if they were to approach the same people. The decision is yours to make. Yeah. I know it's dangerous, but we still have to try. Why is that text so big? It's far too dangerous. We better play it safe. The agents should stay at their current posts. I think they should stay. I think it would be the safer choice indeed, you Grace. Even if I'm dying to find out what it's all about. What shall we do with the bandits? I took the time to think and weigh my options before making a decision. Do we have any information whatsoever on these bandits? If they are who they pretend to be, they have been active all over the territory and always followed this pattern, but we know little about them. For the time being, we have no idea of their whereabouts or who their leader is. Are they trustworthy? I mean, once the ransom has been paid, will they truly release the hostages? So far, yes. They have kept their word. For the time being, we have no proof that this was a setup. We have to believe at the very least that our agent is alive. If they are known for keeping their promises, the best course of action is to pay the ransom without further discussions. We can't continue letting these bandits live on our lands, even if they are known for being trustworthy. I absolutely do not trust them. And I don't want to pay ransoms all over the place. Pretend to pay the ransom but trap them at least. At least we'll have a fewer bandits on our hands if our agent is already dead. I believe that this situation is far too uncertain to engage resources. If it's a trap, we'll lose more lives, and I refuse to finance these bandits any further. Even though it'll cost me, the only thing that we can do is have faith in this agent and in his abilities. If he's as talented as you claim, he should be able to give the slip to a handful of bandits. Oh. Like, in a sense, I think you would like to get rid of them also. You kind of want to get rid of them, right? You want to clean the country. You don't want to pay. Nah. Maybe do nothing. Free. Save. Demo test bandits. Save. I understand your prudence, but knowing our agent, I think that what he knew was very important. I'll continue to do some research on my side and help the local authorities, but I have very little hope that our agent can make it and shed light on the whole situation. I imagine we just have to pray Basan so that he can help guide him back to us. I'll pray too, Master murmurs. Pray! Did he die? Did he live? Did it? What happened? Favored by the gods, survive a choice that could have led to your death. What? I I didn't die. I lived. Grace, our prayers have been heard. Do you remember the agent who had been captured about a week ago? Yes, I remember. Is he all right? Yes, Your Majesty. Basana has heard our prayers. He managed to escape the bandits, and he's on his way to the castle at this very moment. That's wonderful. Has he revealed what he knows? No, not yet. He insists on talking about it in person. With your permission, I'd like to send Alexander to guard him, in order to avoid any further bad surprises. He should be here in a few days. Very well, do that then. And let's wait and see what he has to say. Woo! If I had gone there, I would I have died? I don't know. Unable to sleep, I got up to take in a bit of fresh air at the window. As much as I told myself there was no point in speculating before I got the spiced report, I couldn't stop the foreboding I felt. Ooh. Is the demo. Everything going to be fine. Finish the demo of Imperial Grace, and I was about to be proved right. Whoop. Cliffhanger. Thanks for playing Imperial Grace demo. We hope you had a good time. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord to follow the creation of the game in real time and talk with the team and the community. Heart or a butt. Or cherries. Or boobies. Depends on how you want to look at them. Alright. Credits. That was Imperial Grace. It was definitely a lengthier demo, and we did it in like 2.5 hours. Not too shabby for being me. I of course didn't go crazy with the voices and stuff this time, and I've been lowering my voice acting a little bit. It's just because my throat is starting to break. Main team. Ayael, director, UA designer, programmer, writer. Like all of these games so far have had really good writing. And I feel when I write stuff, of course with some exercise I could get better, but when I write stuff, it's so bad. I don't get it. Araps, so lead artist for sprite, outfits and CG. Aldeas, assistant writer, staging. Benjamin, editing of French version. Pierre G, musician, sound designer. Good job. Good job, Pierre. Alexander, assistant writer. So they got like 3 writers that can explain, better writing. Definitely. English translation, backgrounds, sketchy illustrations, additional programming. Map, logos, UI resources, and software. Rempi. Cool. Yes, very, very, very nice looking. Very, very good job. Nice music, nice stuff, nice pretty pictures, pretty people, or pretty characters, Very nice. Extra. Have you unlocked anything? Not yet. It's for the full game. But yeah, I did like it, and it definitely has a bit of it reminds me a bit of as I said, Yes, Your Grace, when you both do the storyline and stuff, but then you also have to do some choices there for how to rule the kingdom and to make sure you get resources and things. Though Yes, Your Grace was definitely chaotic in that sense. But yeah, that was the demo of Imperial Grace. And for being a demo already up at 2-3 hours, I do wonder how long the full game is. And then to rule the kingdom, I'm gonna guess it's a pretty lengthy game with a lot of content and a lot of stuff that's gonna happen. There's also the whole thing with the 3 romance things, and also they were talking about she needs a husband. Preferably she needs a husband, right? There's probably gonna be some drama. I'm thinking a lot again back towards, you know, Game of Thrones and maybe House of Dragons and stuff, and you know, those are filled with drama and stuff, and backstabbing and whatnot. I also do like the decision making and like the things you have to think about. I think Twitch is going into commercials soon again, maybe. But with the whole decision making, you have a certain amount of these like the scrolls and stuff. Like you could see how many you have left. I wonder if you have to check in on that while you're doing like those when you're talking with like the mission, when the scroll things appear and you have to do the decisions there also, then you can also go into the politics, right? So maybe you have to actually check in there and see how much you have or something. Because I was using them quite freely. I don't know. I was using them a lot. But very, very exciting. Very, very nice game. Very good dialogue, good writing. And again, it's one of those games that makes me curious, of course, to what would happen in the long run. And all of these choices, what could they lead to? We did get like we did get an achievement for like surviving and things. Where do I have a team? Where are you? Come here. Let's look here. Favored by the gods, survive a choice that could have led to your death. So it could have ended like in the other games. I have a tendency to, you know, day. 9.7% of players have this achievement. Regressive gamer. She made a choice to kill someone to solve a problem. Oh, what have you done? Everything's going to be fine. Finish the demo of the Imperial Grace. Locked achievement. Murder solves everything. Too bad. Die after making a choice that you could have survived. Spare no expense. Spend all your monetary resources. Wow. Can't be us. You can't spend all it. Spend it all. Okay, Twitch is in a break again. So we have been streaming for 3 hours. I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess that Do Not Buy This Game might be a bigger demo, like it, at least an hour for it. I'm gonna assume. Probably I will do a video of it instead. Again, I don't know, but I think I'll do a video. I'll give it my best. It's already 9 p.m. also, so I will do my darndest to try and get these videos out. See how it goes. If I stopped sleeping so much. I love sleeping. It's my curse, but also my love. My love and my curse. 1 minute left for Twitch. A little bit of a stretch. Can't stretch my throat though, so I'll just off. Woo. Drink some water maybe. Remember guys, drink water. Always drink water. Though I have heard also that water can dry your throat out a little bit. But yeah. Let's see. Did I have the right pictures? I haven't really done pictures today either, so. Oh, we got a small picture here. Tomorrow's stream. Psycho Sleuth. the last stream for the Choose Wisely Festival. And then these were the games for today. I haven't prepared a picture for the other game for tomorrow. But Do Not Buy This Game is one of the videos that I need to get done. And then for the video tomorrow, that is planned for tomorrow, that's also one of the videos that I'm gonna release. It's called Before They Catch Us. And I haven't yet found a good picture for that one. It was a game that was their first creation. So let's do a little Google. Before They Catch Us. Bam, 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 bam. Oh yeah, it had a bit of a different art style. It's a bit of a darker game. Let's see here. I can fix a quick picture here. Before They Catch Us, put the picture in there. And then we tell this one, and we do a copy, and we do a paste. Put it in there. Hide this one, take this one, go here. And go back, go back, go back. Catch us, this picture, and show it. Up, go. Before They Catch Us. A bit of a darker game as I understood it. Which means we will get some pretty good different types of games for this whole week, which is nice. We have had the happy ones and the little bit of action ones and a little bit of like wars and stuff and a little bit of, yeah, here and there, different types, which has been very nice. I've been very into like all of these games actually. Not gonna lie. Though a lot of reading definitely takes a toll on your voice. But anyways, that was Imperial Grace. Oh yeah. Anyways, and yes, and again, let's go back to, I'm gonna read what they actually wrote. The thing is, they wrote that Imperial Grace only has a lengthy demo of 2 to 3 hours of playthrough so far. But if you and your audience like the game, it would be my pleasure to recontact you when the game is out and give you a couple of keys. If you have any questions, feel free to answer this email. Best regard. So apparently that is like how much they have of the game right now. So it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna take them a while, I guess, to continue to build on the game for a longer time. Potentially 2026. You know, it takes a while to get a game done, but if people would be interested in keys, there are potentials to get this game and be able to play it. Or play whatever they have there in the future. So, you know, I could be interested. I could definitely be interested to see more of this game. It was very nice and also has great potentials. I do love Game of Thrones and also Yes, Your Grace. They very nice stuff. But yeah, that was the demo at least of Imperial Grace and what they have at the moment. So tomorrow, Psycho Sleuth and at least Decadent Air will probably come out as a video, and we will have to see about the other two, or if they will, you know, come out maybe on Tuesday and Wednesday. You know, it will take a little bit of time. We'll see. We'll see how long the demos are and how fast I will be able to edit it together. So for now, thank you guys for joining this stream. I hope you enjoyed. I'm a little bit tired in my head also. That's why I'm like going back and forth and I don't know what I'm saying. Also, I should check out Peak. They apparently have a little fun thing going on for the weekend and I hope I haven't missed it. I said that I was potentially gonna do it in stream, but I don't think I will do it. I will jump in there myself. So just a shout out, Peak, if you like the game Peak. They have a funny thing going on the first beach. So you can go there, you can play the bugle by like a statue or something and start like a big event. And just see what happens. I'm gonna go check it out. But yeah, again, thank you guys for joining. It has been a lot of fun. And I'll see you in another video, in another stream, or in the Discord channel, or in, you know, some of the social medias. I've been a little bit more active this week in the social media department. Or, you know, I'll just see you. I'll see you somewhere. I'll see you guys anytime, somewhere, you know. Yeah, okay. Bye, your pilot. Bye. Hope you feel better soon and have a good night's sleep. You know, rest up. Hope you feel better tomorrow. Make sure to drink a lot of water when you feel a bit sickly. It's always good to drink extra water and especially get that rest. All right, guys. Love you. Bye.